Okay, let's get started.
Just raise your glasses high. This one's sweet.
Hey, me.
Riley.
Well, when you hear us say each other's names like that, it means it's officially Turtle Time. And this month, Turtle Time is the most thankful Bravo podcast in the world because it's November.
Love that.
You do?
I'm thankful for you, Riley.
Oh my God, really?
And to all our little turtles.
That's so sweet. Wow, I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for them. Yeah. Oh my God, I didn't
Thankful
even think
for
about
this Java we're drinking.
this is awesome.
Bounty.
This helps. Coffee, if you feel tired in the morning, this is one of the best things you could do.
I feel like Turtle Time has really, I was sort of give or take on coffee before. And now, since it's become such a ritual, I'm like really doubling down recently.
Wait, explain that. Were you
Like-
before this? You weren't.
I'm not like put on the pot of coffee every morning. Like I don't do that. I mostly just started getting Starbucks as a treat, and it helped me like in the work from home life. I would walk to go get it so that I had to leave the house and like get a little walk in the morning.
Yeah.
I already like round trip. It's 1,200 steps.
Okay.
So I'm like knocked that out in the morning.
Yeah, that's great.
And so it's more like I feel a little wasteful like getting the plastic cup all the time, but I like the ritual of going in,
Wow.
you know?
I never knew that about you, that coffee was a treat, but not essential to your life.
Yeah. I still like, I don't drink it every day.
Well,
Like
so some mornings you can wake up and you can just be like, I don't need coffee this morning.
just high on GOD.
Holy shit. What? Who? G-O-D?
Yeah, you know me.
Who's it? What's that?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you know me. I thought you were going to rap.
It ends there.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. So I am what you said, the former. Put a pot of coffee
yeah.
on in the morning. I wake up. Well, no one cares. But I wake up within 5 minutes. I'm grinding beans, getting coffee ready, and I'm basically like is it Garfield who says that? But first coffee,
Oh.
or he's
I don't
more
know.
lasagna.
Mondays.
He's
He
more
hates Mondays.
lasagna oriented,
Yeah.
and Monday hatred of
I
Mondays.
mean, it's
but
like all those little signs like, but first coffee, or like, don't talk to me till I've had my Java.
I'm that. I'm that. It really, which, it's not good, but within a half an hour, I really want to have coffee. Like, this is my third cup.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm glad that I get why
It's
you
fun.
love it now, and it makes us so much better talking.
Yeah, and we need that stimuli.
Yeah, it's so fun. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee right now.
Michael Pollan said that it is bad for your sleep, though.
Even if you drink it in the very beginning of a day?
It's like if you cut it out, it like your sleep will improve.
I know that everything in moderation or whatever, and so like coffee, some say it has health benefits, but to the amount that I drink it, I know it must have some negative effects,
But like, who cares?
I know.
You know?
I'm going to live till I want to live till 85 to 90.
Okay. I do want to crack the 90s.
Ooh, I would love to
Below
be 90.
that feels wrong.
I mean, I don't want an early sudden death,
Yeah.
and I don't want a illness
No.
wreaked death.
No.
I would love to make it to 90, and I think we have a shot at it. Our
Totally.
generation.
Both my grandmas were 97 and 98.
97 and 98.
Yeah.
I also have longevity in my family's life. I don't want to be the odd person out
Yeah.
that dies early.
Totally.
So
We have to be careful at BravoCon.
if we died at BravoCon, it would put a pallor over the entire event for a lot of
It'd
people.
be a good story, though.
2 podcast co-hosts die.
Found
After-
face down in the Golden Nugget fish tank.
Why the tank?
I don't know.
Oh my God. If
I'm
that-
dead. I don't know.
We don't know how it happened. If that's our obituary, that's awful, but you're right. It kind of does.
I was going to say awesome,
Oh, I was just saying how I don't want to die early.
but like in a cool way.
Could we? Okay, man, I didn't want to die this weekend, but I guess it would add a little extra edge.
Yeah. I'll bring my health insurance card just in case.
Like-
so I can try to live.
Can I, to get saved?
Yeah.
I was saying, can I borrow some of your, can I have half of your insurance card so that I can get saved too?
We're like, Riley's head got cut off. I mean, Amy.
So I get a little bit of that health insurance runoff. I like
Yeah.
that. Speaking of, you just said it. we're going to Bravocon this weekend.
Yeah. I feel I've been so stressed out trying to avoid getting COVID. And I feel like I don't want to jinx it, but like it's Thursday and we're leaving in less than 24 hours. So I don't know what I would have had to do in the last 2 days, but like I think I'm in the clear.
Yeah. Did you go to any huge events?
Well, I did go out last Saturday and someone that was at the party revealed on Monday that they tested positive, but it's Thursday. Like I would know by now.
Oh, right. Oh, and that was a Halloween party.
Yeah.
Wait, someone said that they had it?
They went out on Saturday feeling fine, woke up Sunday feeling bad, like a little bad, and then on Monday tested positive.
All right. Well, our audience will never know if we got COVID or not because we'll never talk
I'll
about
never
it.
tell.
You will never find out if Amy and I got COVID anywhere.
I'm going to give all the Bravo Lebs COVID.
It's like another horrible thing we could do to BravoCon.
Yeah. But yeah, that I was like really, because Jimmy, my boyfriend, had COVID up until Tuesday. He tested negative on Tuesday.
You were really like...
So I was like dodging bullets.
Yeah.
Like I have been so
I was
scared.
just going to say that. You were dodging bullets a little bit.
Yeah. I made him sleep on an air mattress. We avoided each other, wore masks. Like I think I did a good job.
You seem, I mean, I'll just say it. You look healthy and not nearly close to being sick.
Great. But yeah, I've been so paranoid. Like every time I had like any tickle in my throat or felt like warm because it was like hot outside, I'd be like, I have a fever.
Yeah.
I'm dying. Like,
Yeah, me too. So I think, we will be in the clear. I mean, there's nothing wild we're going to do in the last minute that's going to stricken us with COVID.
no, I don't care if I get it at BravoCon. I mean, I don't want to get it, but like, I've just been trying to avoid it up until this point because it's too important.
Yeah, it's too important. And I feel like, I don't know, like we were talking last week, like I have such high expectations. I really need to lower them down and just be like, whatever we do, it's going to be fun no matter what.
Yeah.
But I was going to ask you, do you have like 1 or 2 goals in addition to just having fun that you want to accomplish while you're there? Like
I mean,
even one?
I would love to either take a shot or cheers Kyle Cook.
That's what was just brought to my mind when I was thinking of a cool goal, like to do one shot or have a drink with just one Bravo celebrity.
Yeah. I feel like he's like such a mascot to me. Like the Vanderpump people, we love them, but not to be, I don't know, like bourgeois
Yeah. Sure.
or jaded, but like we kind of see those people a lot. Like we've seen them generally more than most.
True. We don't get a lot of that New York life.
Yeah. So there's some people that are more exciting. Like, I mean, obviously I'd be stoked if we ran into Schwartz or whatever, but I'm like, I live like a mile from his bar.
Schwartz, we see you all the time.
Get out of here. He tries to talk to us. He's like, hey guys. We're like, shut up.
Yeah. Where's Carl? We do get one opportunity. I mean, I don't know if I'm like to blast out our schedule or whatever, but if you're at BravoCon and you're a little turtle cutie and you see us,
If you're listening to this on the plane
yeah,
on the way there.
getting ready, getting hyped up. I mean, come party with us, obviously. And then we're going to be sort of close to the Bravo After Dark activities. So hopefully, even in worst case, we could lock eyes with one person, Bravo celebrity, even if we're not in the same space,
Yeah.
and just cheers them in a way. So maybe
Yeah.
that's how you could
Like
accomplish your goal.
Gatsby.
They would be like Gatsby, looking down on us.
Yeah.
But that's exactly the kind of vibe I'm talking about. That's it. Yeah, that's my goal too. I want to lower expectations. I want to go to like 2 fun panels where we learn some new, cool thing. I want to meet some fun people because Bravo fans, when you're together, there is so much fun energy with people who have shared Bravo love.
It's powerful.
I went to a Halloween party too on the 28th or whatever, Saturday.
Yeah.
And there were some Bravo people around in that party, and because I was Luann
right.
in a bush.
Did people know, or did you have to tell them?
People were like, "Who the hell are you?" And I go, "I'm Luann." And then they saw Megan, and they're like, "Oh, you're Luann falling into a bush."
Okay.
And then it lights up people's faces when they get to talk about Bravo. It's
Yeah.
just such a common denominator.
Totally.
So that'll be fun.
Yeah, it saved me at many a party where you have nothing in common and then you realize that they're into Housewives and you're like, here we go.
At least, yeah, you have like a half an hour of talk.
Totally.
You could have.
Yeah. Remember I like right before we started our podcast, I went to Mexico and I wore a Schwartz and Sandy's hat and I talked to a woman in the pool for like a long time.
That's amazing. Like you're just good. You meet friends that way.
Little did either of us know that Scandival was like a week away.
I know. Yeah. I can't believe it. Scandival seems so far in the past now that
I know.
watching Winter
Winter
House,
House, yeah.
I'm just like, whoa, I can't remember what happened there to all of us.
I'm obsessed. I mean, we're going to talk about that later, but I'm obsessed with thinking about Schwartz's schedule at that time because he went to Winter House like 1 week after Scandival broke, and then he was going to have to fly back and do the reunion
Yeah. 2 days later.
2 days later.
Because I think he was there for either 2 weeks or 10 days
Yeah.
total. And then they
Yeah.
say 12 days from now, he's at the reunion. So he was just like off of his oasis, his vacation oasis. And then he just had to come back right into the fire immediately.
It's so funny. He's so stressed out.
Yeah. Well, speaking of fire
Oof.
and Bravo,
Yeah.
a huge thing happened this week. Well, I don't know if it's huge. That's the eye of the beholder.
Right.
But on Monday, when we woke up, you and I separately in 2 different houses, I opened my eyes and that long-awaited, long-teased Vanity Fair expose, bombshell
Yeah.
reporting came out.
Do you remember what it was called?
It was called Inside the Real Housewives Scandal That Is Rocking Bravo, or something like that. It was something about, it was sort of like the way that the headline was, it was sort of like, here are the details of the things that are going on inside Bravo that Bravo is already aware of. Instead of new bombshells.
Right.
It was more like letting the audience into what's already taking place at Bravo. You know what I
Right.
mean? Which is
Yeah.
framed a little differently than what I thought it was going to be.
Right.
Where I thought that they would be revealing 10 scandals, horrific scandals that we didn't know about, that maybe
Yeah.
even Bravo wasn't like currently dealing with.
Right. No, the whole thing was pretty much like if you pay as much attention as we do, we pretty much knew it all.
Yeah.
And, I would say it was like you were saying on TikTok and stuff, like very
you watched that?
RHONY heavy. I did watch it.
That was shocking. That was shocking. It was so related to RHONY.
Right. Like, I mean, I guess I'm not shocked because the Ramona of it all, we already knew that stuff kind of. I
Yeah.
mean, not necessarily the exact details, but we had heard that shit went down with Ebony
Yeah.
and that there was like an HR fiasco and like whatever. But I think Ramona thought she was out of the woods on that one.
Yeah. Yeah. We're getting into it. Okay. So this, I want to quote it properly. Inside the Real Housewives Reckoning that's rocking Bravo. I should have known it had reckoning. A lot of R's, a lot of alliteration in there. And I was also surprised, just like you said, that the main contributors, participants, we knew it was going to be Bethenny.
Yeah.
We knew Bethenny was doing it.
Yeah.
But then I guess I was a little, not underwhelmed, but confused that the only contributors or participants in this, in the entire Bravo universe,
Yeah.
are people who have been scorned
Right.
by Bravo. Like Teddy Mellencamp, I know she would never bite the
I'm
hand that feeds her,
picturing
but-
the photo that Bravo posted today of the BravoCon lineup. It's literally like 300 people.
But those are all like, that's the safe world. Like
Right.
those are all the people that have pledged their
Right.
allegiance. But I was thinking of all the runoff, like people that you would never even think about anymore. People who were like one and done
Right.
from the past. Like there's probably some horror stories from Cindy Barshop. That's the only one-time housewife that I always think about
Yeah.
on RHONY. But like even Jules or whatever,
Yeah.
like
Right.
there was just no one except the most hated season of Real Housewives of New York that everyone unanimously thinks is awful.
Yeah. No, and then okay, I think everyone agrees that this was a bit of a flop. Like the news, I mean, the Ramona stuff is bad. Like I'm going to set that to the side. I just mean in general, like
Ramona made things worse.
yeah,
Immediately
like,
after.
and we all already knew that, but I'm just going to say like in general, the information included in the article is not going to take down
Yeah.
the network or ruin the franchise, whatever. But oh my god, I just like lost my train of thought.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say there's already post like this fallout being discussed as a flop. Like Page
Right.
6 already reported on how there's been no repercussions for this. It's generally regarded as a dud.
Right. It's almost like, so I think they thought they were doing something by dropping it right before BravoCon.
Yes.
But I'm like, BravoCon news is going to like obliterate it.
Yeah.
Like, There's going to be like 10 million articles coming out of BravoCon. It's going to be like, Erica Jane says Dorit's marriage is over. Like, blah, blah, blah. Like,
well, and Leah McSweeney already said, okay, so first of all,
yes.
I have to talk about Leah McSweeney.
Yes.
So I considered Leah McSweeney not good on RHONY for both of her seasons.
You must feel vindicated.
Is that the common consensus? I don't want to
I think some people like her. I think they're
well, some people like anyone.
Well, sure. I think that she has that what people would describe as fresh.
Oh, she
which
was
is your favorite.
Fresh as hell when she came on RHONY.
But I can't get over, before I forget, I just want to make this one point, that being the information that we had gotten, the images that they took for this article, they really like put it through the lens of like that it was like the Harvey Weinstein victims, like,
yeah, or like someone who had just left a cult.
Yeah, like it's like the most like sad, grim photo of like Leah in like a dark like bedroom looking like forlorn. And I was like, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, and they sort of, Vanity Fair sort of did a disservice. It sort of shows maybe that they're not fully versed in the Bravo world, that the only two participants were, Ebony and Leah, who are already sort of, they don't have a huge goodwill towards them in the Bravo universe. They're really new to it.
Right. I feel like Ebony had like a respectable case because it was like a direct, specific thing that happened.
Yeah.
And she, it's like, I feel like with the Leah stuff, everything she said, I was like, I mean,
Leah's was her, well, whatever. There's going to be someone who said, well, I don't know. Is there going to be someone who says, I love everything that Leah said, it was perfect or whatever? It's just like a lot of hers was more in the ambiguous terms of, I don't really know how to feel about this. I'm sorry you went through that.
Totally.
But you know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry.
Right. It felt more like you were in a bad place in your life and you chose to join something that was going to be hard and probably not best for you at that time. Like, she had been sober for many years and started drinking before the show. It's not like it would be different if maybe she felt pressured to drink on the show and that's why she started. But like, she came in having started drinking again. She told the producers like, hey, I'm drinking. It's fine. Like, I'm good with it.
Yes.
And so that was like a bad call for herself, like bad self-care, She should have been like, wow, like I'm headed towards relapse, like, but whatever. No judgment. I'm just saying, like, the show can't be blamed. The show can't be blamed for that. And then she's like saying that she was pressured to stay while her grandma was dying, even though the texts from them said like, we'll do anything you need, do whatever you want.
Now.
We are here for you. Like, no problem at all. And she's like, but the insinuation was the opposite. And I'm like, well, what?
Yeah, what else can they do?
Like,
I mean,
yeah. Like, it's like someone being like, you're beautiful. I love you. I would do anything for you. But I felt like they meant that I was a dumb bitch and they hate me.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
What?
Yeah. That's, hers kind of, I don't know. It's like, I just feel bad. I feel bad that she was ever put in that position, obviously, but it just, I don't know. I was never a huge, fan of hers to begin with.
Right. I mean, it's just like, again, with everything, I'm like, I'm not saying that these experiences or circumstances that these people have to go through aren't really crazy and unnatural and hard.
Yeah.
Which is why it takes a certain kind of person to thrive in that environment. And I don't know if you have a guess on who said that quote at the bottom where it was like, have you seen what NFL training or like army training is like? Like, it's no fucking joke, but like you have to do it or whatever.
It was Lisa. Vanderpump.
Someone posted a picture of Kenya on World's Toughest Test.
Oh,
and was
really?
like, it's her.
Yeah, that's good.
But it's like, again, it's like not every scenario is for everyone. And if you're in a fragile state, don't join a show where you have all these crazy interpersonal like fights and drinking environment. Like if you have problems around that, then you have to think about yourself first. And like, she still joined UGT later.
Right.
Like, she did it again and they made it sound like it was because they were dangling the new show in front of her, which I'm still like, so she wanted to go on the show again.
I didn't understand that. It's like, you should go on UGT to like test the waters again, UGT Thailand or whatever, and like get your feet in the water and then the ultimate goal was that she wanted to be back on RHONY Legacy.
Right.
Like, she wanted to be back on that?
Right.
Like, I thought she hated that.
Right. And you didn't watch UGT Thailand, but that whole, like, panic attack or whatever it was on camera. Like, she, like, passes out while they're out shopping, and she has to, you know, go get an IV, and it was like a very traumatic experience or whatever, which she also seems to be blaming the show for the bad care that she got in Thailand. And I'm like, you were in Thailand. Like,
Yeah.
certain places you hope that you get through without having to go to the hospital, because
Right.
it's not the same as New York City.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess, you know, the common response to this was just that we knew most of these accusations. Also, for me personally, I would have thought that there'd be a lot more stuff that they could have uncovered, and
Right.
more former cast members willing to speak out.
Yeah.
And then I think the response shows how even people connected to the reality reckoning feel. I mean, Bethenny's response to this was like, did you read it on Instagram? It was like, this is just a small drop of the poison of the poison ocean that will befall upon the world once you know the true horrors that Bravo has perpetuated in its corrupted, colluded sea of nightmares. It was like the word, like,
Right.
she was like,
the language was insane.
she has gone this evolution from I am fine with Bravo.
Yeah.
I go on Watch What Happens Live. I sort of take shots at it
Yeah,
because
that
that's
was
my
like
personality.
2 months ago.
It was
something.
like, yeah, it's like I have a repartee with Andy where I can kind of hit back at him because I'm just as powerful as him, but I also love Bravo. I pitch shows to Bravo. I'm fine in this world.
Yeah.
I want a Bravo affiliated career
Yeah.
to then whatever happened, those 3 or 4 steps along the way, and now she is like, I mean, seriously, and she wants Andy like fired and
It's
and
insane.
like, canceled. She wants him fired and canceled.
Right. She's supposed to be so anti-cancel.
Yeah, she went for also like her evolution on Andy has also changed. Like, she went
Yeah.
from like just being sort of nebulous about Bravo as a toxic environment in general to being like, Andy is the face of this thing. He is the daddy, the father, and everything is perpetuated by him.
I would love to hear what he's saying, like,
Oh, I know.
after dark.
Oh, it'll be well, if he ever does another diary.
Oh my god. Yeah, he's gonna sell a lot of copies on that next one. I hope
Yeah.
he goes there for real.
But and then Leah McSweeney also said, "Wow, the Bravo PR bots are really out trying to bury this Vanity Fair piece." And I didn't see any like Bravo affiliated stuff. I just saw like Twitter account,
Right.
or well, which who knows, maybe they
Right.
are PR bots.
No,
or whatever,
I
but-
saw like there's like this one group that I'm in on Facebook that's like, I don't really go on Facebook, but it's like a housewives centric Facebook group,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone in it generally is a little too much for me. Like, their takes are bad, and they're like very pro Lindsay Hubbard, and
Oh, yeah.
just like, I guess like feminist, which isn't bad, but just like to a degree that I find annoying, where I'm like, okay, but in this case,
Right.
like, think clearly.
Right.
And I was afraid that they were going to be so like, wow, like Bravo is toxic, like time to like reap what they sow. And I logged in and they were all like, Jesus Christ, like what a crock. And I was
Yeah.
like, yes. I was like, even these girls like are not down. And don't you feel like it's such a, like, Bethenny is hurting the cause because everyone hates her now.
I know.
And
Well,
in that
that's-
article, she had nothing to say.
Yeah, I mean that's why I was thinking, like, I mean, in terms of sympathy or whatever, like Leah McSweeney and Bethenny, it's like that's what you're riding this
There was
reckoning on.
basically no, like, Bethenny herself didn't really have examples except that she said she was like desperate to please Andy. She liked being the favorite. She liked being a producer mind.
Yeah, no,
But like, she didn't have examples herself.
no. Also, like, Nene is notably not included in this.
Yeah.
I feel like Nene, since her suing, which
Yeah.
was her own reality reckoning in a way,
Yeah.
that was her way to try to get money from Bravo for her misfortune. She is now, I feel like, wanting to be back on the side of Bravo. I feel like
Right.
she knows she went a little too far and wants relationships to Bravo.
Yeah.
So even though she's doing podcasts with Bethenny and everything, I don't think she's ready to be a part of the reality reckoning that
Right.
egregiously.
Well, it's like, what is she going to get out of it?
I don't know.
Like, you know?
Yeah, and then I was surprised. I mean, Leah McSweeney is obviously very fine now. She's never going to be involved in a Bravo thing again. And I
Yeah.
guess she must have known that it came to that point.
She's going to have to be on like House of Villains season 4.
Yeah.
But yeah, was there any other like bombshell? I mean, Ramona is not going to BravoCon anymore.
Right. And
Like-
I really don't know if. Well, I just read another Page Six thing where they were like talking to sources where Ramona could have been in the clear because people were aware of,
Yeah.
some very unfortunate comments she made while filming with Ebony.
Yeah.
But then when she tried to, she contacted a Page Six reporter to try to get them to remove, a false detail that they reported. Then she kind of dug herself into a bigger hole, which I don't even want to get into.
No.
And then I think with that combined with the initial accusations in the Vanity Fair, now they're like, okay, Ramona, we're taking a break from you. You're not going to go to BravoCon.
The crazy thing is that so the UGT with Brandy and Caroline, where that shit went down, which there's like a lawsuit pending about. It sounds like the lawsuit is actually Caroline on behalf of their like man servant, like on.
wait, that one. The one from UGT 2, Marco, or they harassed another.
Yeah, so it sounds like every guy on those shows is like. The guy on the Thailand one, his name was Pepsi.
Okay.
And he was like this sweet Thai man. And he like cried at one point.
Because
like they were just like, he was like, it's too much like negativity.
Oh.
And I'm like, wow, they like are just abusing these men. And I guess on the new one, not only did Brandy like grope and kiss Caroline
Brandy.
Manzo, but she like spanked this guy's bottom.
Oh, okay.
And I guess Caroline, correct me if I'm wrong, world, but like what I read was that like Caroline was like going after her also on behalf of this guy. And I don't know how you do that or how that works, but maybe she was just including his
Okay, so Caroline
groping.
isn't specifically. Wait, so Caroline.
I think she's suing like Bravo, like NBC Uni, like I don't know what's going to happen there, but like they had to delay that show because that's going on.
But
So
then
they
she
put the
didn't-
RHONY UGT first, which they're already promoting on TV, like the ads. But now Ramona's on that. So I'm like, are they just going to have to cancel both of them?
So I think I read just today on Page 6 that they're deliberating just scrapping Morocco entirely.
Whoa.
And I think my opinion is that the quality of that season probably didn't outweigh the scandal
Yeah.
that is included within it.
Yeah.
Because I never thought the cast of Morocco seemed very good.
Can you list it?
What?
Do you know who it is?
It was like half of UGT 2, but also they added, who did they add?
Kristen, Alex.
Oh yeah. Alex. I'll look it up after. But to me, it just didn't seem like a vibrant cast. It seemed like a diluted version of Ultimate Girls Trip season 2, which I loved, the Bluestone Manor one. So I think that if you're going to wade into controversy and have a alleged sexual harassment happen on screen that you can't really even edit around because it's such a big deal, because Brandy left early and Caroline I think left early.
Okay.
So it's like it's too hard to wade into that if overall Morocco was just a flop, and I bet Morocco was a flop. So they're just like, okay, Morocco's potentially going to be scrapped because we don't want to deal with the controversy for something that's not that good ultimately.
Yeah.
I think they're still going to go forward with Legacy.
Okay.
I think that I don't know. I mean, it could change. I mean, I just saw that Ramona got fired from her job, which I didn't know what I didn't know she had a real estate. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she got fired from her real estate firm.
Okay.
So, I mean,
Yikes.
the Ramona situation is still evolving.
I will say, like, the only outrage I do see online is about Ramona. Like, she's, like, gonna have to take the bullet on this one. Like, people, I'm sorry, Riley, I know that she's an OG favorite of yours, but, like, if there's anything you can't fuck around with, is what she said.
I know.
Like, that's,
I mean,
like,
I'm not.
the silver bullet for, like, I mean, just in general, like, ethically, but also, like, corporate wise, like HR wise.
And really, I mean, right. I mean, I have loved Ramona in the past. I said she's like number four or three, my favorite housewife
I mean,
of all
her
time.
tagline is our namesake, we have to say.
I mean, yeah. And I was a, staunch defender, and I saw, as horrible as she's ever been, but still tolerated it. I mean, I have a high tolerance for the horrors of humanity, and
I mean, there was some shit in there that about like Luann and Sonia, that for some reason, specifically Sonia, I was like, oh my God, like Sonia, come on, girl. But like for some reason, I trust Sonia's heart. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, she's so she's ignorant, but not hateful. Whereas Ramona, I'm like, I don't trust your heart.
Okay. You think she's got like a little Grinch heart?
Yeah. I also, my favorite was, I'm going to say 2 favorite things in the article. One, that Ramona, I mean, this is why she got in trouble. So, you know, what she said was bad, but she said that one time someone called her what she described as a Catholic slur, and by calling her shiksa,
right?
Which I thought that's very funny that she was so offended to be called a shiksa, which like generally is kind of like almost like people say like shiksa goddess, like it's like kind of like not offensive. It's
I don't
just
typically
like,
say that, but you're saying people do.
People do. And I have never heard of anyone being offended by that. Secondly, regarding Caroline and Brandy, Phaedra said, "It was nothing short of a Harlequin romance. Love was in the air." And I was like, what the fuck are you talking
The
about?
reporter was talking to Phaedra, and they go, "Wait, what'd you say? A Harlequin romance? Okay, great." Like, yeah, that was
Nothing short of a Harlequin romance. I was like, I'm just going to start saying that about fucking everything.
Yeah, love was in the air. Well, Phaedra is amazing for that kind of stuff.
Like, unbelievable. Like, no one has ever strung a sentence like that together.
They
ever.
really figured out a way to get Phaedra back into the Bravo universe in
totally.
a way that doesn't ruffle any feathers.
Yeah.
So I guess we generally do. We can just say, I mean, no matter what the public consensus is, you know, this was not the reality reckoning that I imagined, and I do not think any of the accusations are going to tarnish Bravo's legacy. I didn't really see one person say anywhere that I will not be watching Bravo due to the things I read.
No.
And the RHONY in question, season 13, that was the most, you know, toxic thing that they could pull from, was already scrapped and
Right.
replaced with this wonderful new season of RHONY that I now really like, season 14. No, but I'm just saying, you know.
Don't you feel like it's sort of learning that about that they knew that all of
Yes.
this was going on with the old RHONY very much colors
Yes.
why they did this.
No, yeah.
Because they're like, we're fucked.
Yes, I now am thinking through Bravo executives in Andy's eyes and being like, what the hell happened in season 13? What does this hot sheet say?
Yeah.
What the hell did Luann say on the call? What did Ramona say? Unfortunately, we got to figure out something else to do here because this can't happen. And we're not going to fire Ebony. She wants to leave. She felt uncomfortable. It's just
Yeah.
like there was just too many horrible dynamics that we probably still don't even know. The stuff that's more even like commonplace, that just with production that we don't want to know, or
Right.
we'll never know about. And he was probably like, I am not dealing with this shit anymore.
Right.
Or Shed Media is like, we're not dealing with this shit
I
anymore.
totally forgot about that scrapped reunion.
Yeah.
Remember?
That now we know exactly why that happened.
Yeah.
There was an investigation going on specifically about Ramona to see if she actually said a slur,
Right.
to a
Which
producer.
we had heard at that time, like kind of like vaguely.
We did.
Like we knew that was going on, but wasn't it also like COVID? And then when they did do the reunion, they were sitting like a mile apart and it was just like insane.
Yeah. Well, you mean
Or was that the one before?
that was the one before?
Did they
because
just literally never
No, we
did it?
never had a reunion, which
Okay.
we should have known something was very, very wrong when they said, scheduling wise, we couldn't make the reunion happen.
Right.
So,
God, it's fucking crazy. And like, I'm sure Andy has been like, I'm sure he's gotten so many texts from Ramona because she was just on Watch What Happens Live like twice recently.
she was like just being embraced back publicly in the Bravo
she sat on
universe.
Andy's lap.
I mean, it was like, and I feel like now I'm like looking at Crappy Lake, and I'm like, I feel like Crappy Lake was too close to these original accusations to where that's why Luann and Sonia only went and not Ramona, even though obviously I used to feel like Ramona, it would have been amazing, the trio of them. At
Yeah,
Crappy
yeah.
Lake. So I feel like I'm seeing the rationale for all these decisions, and then Ramona was just being publicly embraced again, and then, I mean, yeah.
I can't believe like whatever. I'm just like, I can't believe that she doesn't have people in her life that told her
I know.
not to text the reporter directly.
You know what that made me think of is that she is so used to selling stories and pitching stories and commenting on things with Page Six, that she had a personal relationship with probably everyone there, because RHONY was the most leaked franchise or whatever, leaking franchise. So I feel like that's why she felt this very cavalier attitude towards correcting mistakes, being flippant or whatever. And finally the reporter got that last text and they're like, okay, well, this is now a major contributing factor to what we've already seen allegations of. Boom, you're done.
Yeah, like, and you put it in writing, clown.
Yeah. So you can't defend Ramona. It was just too stupid of a decision. Too stupid. And
might only be one turtle time at the end of the day.
I think Avery might just continue it on her own.
Just talking to herself.
Just get some friends that she, knows or likes. That'll be interesting. Maybe we could be a guest on that one.
Okay.
And then she passes the torch to us.
Yeah, we can absorb their subscribers and their social media accounts.
Oh, that would be, what's that called? Like a corporate merger.
Yeah.
A corporate merger. Avery says, I unfortunately have to introduce you to 2 new guests. They also host a podcast called Turtle Time. And then we go, hey, we're the new owners of the Turtle Time umbrella.
Buckle up, bitch.
Buckle up, bitch. You're in for a wild ride.
Are you ready for a certified turtle piss?
Avery, do you have to piss? We're all of a sudden way more
She's
crass.
like handcuffed.
All your fans are coming to us, and we automatically subscribe them. It's like when YouTube put that thing on iTunes, automatically all of their subscribers
on their phone.
And then we have our new artwork where we're cheersing to full absorption.
Their
What's
Instagram
that called?
stories are all us.
Yeah. What's that called? A full-blown
total takeover.
That would be awesome. Well, best case scenario. Wait, we're always looking for the silver lining. That is amazing.
Sorry, Ramona. It's our time.
Who knows how many listeners? I don't know how many listeners we have, but who knows? But that would be great.
Yeah, we just don't look. We don't look at those
I don't
stats.
want to know.
I don't need to see that.
Are we talking to anybody?
Okay. Well, while we're talking about like PR articles and stuff, I guess we can round out by talking about Lindsay Hubbard's PR stunt.
Speaking of PR, that was like her. Anything I see that's Us Weekly with Lindsay, I just remember that she has like some special like 1-for-1 relationship, whatever PR language is for like the only source I give my information to. Because Us Weekly, outside of Summer House and Lindsay, they are never on top of anything. They're not Bravo reporters.
Right.
So
that annoying group I was talking about, in all the comments, they were like,
finally.
They were like, PR queen. They were like, so good at this. I was like, not really.
Also, why is being good at PR something to praise?
I know. I was like, that's like not cool. And also, like, I think she's misreading the amount that most people care about the situation.
Seriously, I was thinking this is like an Ariana 2.0 where people give like maybe 10% of the amount of empathy and care.
She wants that like Duracell ad. Yeah, like she wants to be like, now that Carlito's out, like Tampax is in. And like she wants to get all the accounts.
And she didn't. What's that? Temper. She didn't hold back in her feelings about anything.
No, they were. I'm telling you, because. This is, what we had to deal with all during the Danielle and Lindsay shit. These people were like the ones that were saying what Danielle did was disgusting. Like Lindsay is, blah, blah, blah. And they were like, yeah, like make the man clean up the mess that he made. Like she deserves to live in that apartment, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, who the fuck is paying for that apartment? Like it's $13,000 if we remember correctly.
$13,000
a month.
How could it be?
New York City, baby.
Carl and Lindsay.
So I guess he's still just paying it, because in the article she goes, she's like, I've been through too much to figure out a new place to live.
Yeah. They don't know where Carl's living. I think he lives at just different
Loverboy HQ.
Oh, that sounds right. On their couch.
Yeah. I'd watch that show.
That would be so cool. Carl's back. He wants to work at Loverboy again. So, I mean, was there anything? I mean, basically, she was definitely striving to have big, things happen from this article, like make some waves. Her thing about Kyle Cook was pretty egregious.
Boo.
Like, I was like, do not speak of Kyle that way, because Kyle generally, if I remember correctly, has always been sympathetic to Lindsay until she reaches a certain point where he can't defend her. He's always been a good friend to Lindsay.
Yeah,
in my recollection.
Yeah, I think she just knows that he knows. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
he knows too much.
Yes.
So she has to like publicly slander him to make everyone on her side. And she was like, my friends are already setting me up on dates, and her wedding date hasn't even passed yet.
I know.
She was supposed to get married on November 17th. I'm like,
just-
you're dating before your wedding date of like your broken engagement.
Yeah, and then it was also like she was promoting a book that she's writing.
Oh my God.
They asked her specifically, about her relationship with Danielle, and she goes, Danielle is such a wonderful friend, and, she's always been there for me.
Yeah, she said that this whole scenario has really turned into something about sisterhood.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all those bitches hate you. I'm sorry.
I know.
They do.
Well, it's like even if Amanda and Paige and Sierra are sympathetic to you through this, and like they were really,
Yeah, they'll
really
like pick
sweet.
you up off the floor when you're like dying, but like after that, I think they can move on.
Yeah. So this is another, not a flop, but I just don't think it is giving what Lindsay thought it would give to the world.
Right. Yeah. Are they both going to BravoCon? Her and Carl?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm glad. This was good timing though for us to do that panel we were going to do unofficially, where we get Carl and Lindsay to talk for the first time.
Right.
Wouldn't that be kind of fun?
If we meet Carl, should we be like, you did the right thing?
Carl, tell us really right now. What's it called when we say it's
Off the record.
off the record? Carl, how could I not remember that? Carl, off the record. What the hell happened between you and Lindsay? I bet it was. We've already said it. A house of horrors. I bet they were like. That's why, because when Kyle and Craig talk about, they're like, they don't want to spoil it, but they're like, you'll see some things that might put this relationship into perspective.
Right. But then in that article, she said that there were
nothing.
no red flags. And I'm like, well, then you're ignorant. Like, you weren't paying attention then. And that was probably part of the problem.
Right.
Like, that's total fucking bullshit. There were red flags before they got engaged.
But the empathy does seem to have waned a lot on Lindsay, because when we first started talking about this, we were like, Carl, what the hell are you doing? And then now I don't see any full-blown just like, I love Lindsay. Well, unless in your group you said you saw
there
that.
are some dark corners that
Reddit.
I hate to see. Yeah. But I don't know. Again, one of the greatest vindications in Bravo history. I haven't felt that strongly about a scenario in a long time, and the fact that we were right feels good.
What were we right about?
That they were a bad match and their relationship was a farce, and
Yeah,
that Danielle smelled something off and she was right.
It was farcical completely. We knew there was something off. Everyone in the house knew something was off, but it was that awkward thing where you have to be happy for someone and be sweet, but you can't really get it all, get all the way there because something's wrong.
Yeah, it's like at a certain point, I guess you're like, I'll mind my business, but you're like, I know that something stinks.
Yeah, something stunk in the summer house. And even you could see behind the scenes, you could look at some people and there'd be whiffs in the air of people trying to smell what stunk in there. You know who's, a legend that I'm just like, I'm so proud of the journey that she's been on and what she's done is Danielle.
Yeah.
She's like I don't know. I just think like on Winter House, I'm as excited to see her like as Kyle, as representatives for Summer House. Like I miss Amanda. I wish she was there or whatever. But like Danielle has the spirit of Summer House within her, and she really lets that party spirit out. Like
Totally. She likes to party.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I'm not just saying she's a party animal that I love, but I just think that she's grown so much in my estimation as a cast member, as like the face of a franchise. I feel that way about her. I feel like her and Kyle are holding up the legacy of Summer House in that place right now.
Yeah. I hope that Danielle feels loyalty to Kyle as well, because I can see her, she's so strongly controlled by Hub House that I could see her, that since Hub House hates Kyle, I could see Danielle siding with Lindsay still.
She will always love Kyle, like how we love Kyle. She knows the truth. She just has a wider threshold for how horrible people can treat her, and she can still be nice to them, which is a wonderful trait in some people,
No.
Okay, it's a horrible trait in Danielle, and Danielle, when you're listening to this, please correct it.
Love yourself, Danielle. We love you. Don't take shit from anybody.
Yeah. But okay, well, great. Well, so come on. It's 45 minutes. We're good, right?
Yeah, we had a lot of news. We will report back after BravoCon with all the news that we get, our on-the-ground coverage.
How will we be able to have a normal episode of Turtle Time and also recap everything we've done at BravoCon?
I know. we might have to do like half and half. We'll
Yeah.
see. Hopefully we have that. It's that eventful.
What if it's like, yeah, I saw the back of Kyle Cook's head before he went on a panel.
Saw him at the airport.
And we couldn't get into any events because the lines were too long.
I mean, it might be, but I think we'll make the most of it.
Sure, of course we will. All right, well, 45 minutes. Do you want to go straight in, or do we need a little break?
Do you need a break?
I don't.
I don't either.
Wow. Is it because it's only been 45 minutes?
Maybe so.
Should
Let's see if we can get past this first. What do we want to do? Southern Charm first?
I think we should reward our listeners who do the Southern Charm Challenge with
Yeah.
us and wait one full week.
Yeah.
This episode of Southern Charm, it's called The Naked Truth.
Yes.
Um,
Season 9, Episode 7. My notebook has soy sauce all over it because I got sushi last night.
You did?
While I was watching.
Oh, so did you just watch Southern Charm?
Yesterday, yeah.
So you actually
I do the challenge usually
That's amazing.
because for some reason it like overwhelms me. Like I'm afraid I'll forget. I watched RHONY a while ago and I gotta say I, for many reasons, forgot most of what has happened on it.
When I try to recall what happened on RHONY Part 2, I see a flash of like the set and then nothing. I cannot remember one other thing as much as I wanted to absorb what was going on.
Yeah.
But enough about something that's bad. Let's talk about something that's good. This episode of Southern Charm, to me, it completely ripped to high heaven.
Yeah. It was good. It had a fun new setting.
Fun new setting. So this episode deals with, so in a post, last week's episode, we talked about it. Olivia suffered one of the worst things that a person could ever go through.
Yeah.
And we watched the Southern Charm cast deal with that in a beautiful, profound way. Now, this episode has half of that, where it's like a diluted version of let's overcome, let's move forward, with then a huge let's go back to the drawing board and get Southern Charm back on its feet. It's
Yeah.
like we're not going to
Dwell,
keep,
yeah.
we're not going to dwell.
Yeah.
So this was a perfect hybrid of the tone that I think you need to set post something horrible happening.
Right. Respectfully.
Respectfully.
Yeah.
And it does seem, I think they took a week or 2 weeks off. There does seem to be some distance there.
Mm-hmm.
When JT refers to it's been a rough few weeks.
Yeah.
It sounds like they gave him some reprieve there. Like we know that the funeral happened in
Right.
the interim.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so I'll just say quickly up front, there is a little Craig and Penelope meet and greet, the two little Frenchie pups. And Shep says that little Craig is going to get his nasal passages fixed. I'm like, what does that entail?
Well,
Is it like a nose job?
It's a nose job. They put a new dog's nose on that type of dog. I think that they have such smushed faces. I mean, forgive me.
Yeah.
If you have, what kind of dog
It's
is
a French bulldog, I think.
French bulldogs? Unfortunately, no offense, have breathing issues due to that smashed nose. That I don't think if they would have been allowed to just evolve naturally in the wild, they would have never. That wouldn't have
Yeah.
been a breed that was sustaining,
Yeah.
but they are kept alive through artificial means. So I think that they have to all go through surgery, or a lot of them have to go through surgeries to like correct that so they can breathe
I kind
properly.
of want to look into like what that means, but anyways, that's like poor dog. Anyways, and then Whitney has all the boys over again. It's like every single one, and this is when they're playing with the canes and the swords in the corner, and I wrote down like it's funny that the men always are hanging out in this like dainty house, and then like the second I wrote that down, Austin was like, this house is for tea and crumpets. You need like a man den. I was like, I literally was just thinking that.
Yeah. Austin
Not to
said,
be heteronormative, but that house is specifically feminine.
Yeah. I mean, Austin just had to say it. And I guess it is true that they're like, they're like having whiskey or whatever, and they're in Patricia's like drawing room.
Yeah,
or whatever.
it's like a $40,000 couch with a like frilly bottom.
I did like knowing that those canes by the door all had a different little thing in them, like a secret,
fun.
and a shot glass, and one of them actually still had like liquid residue in it. Like
I know.
someone
Do you
just
think
took
it
a
was
half
like
shot.
antique, or do you think that Whitney recently used it?
I think Whitney recently used it. And then we found out that Patricia was out on the town, sort of giving Whitney,
Why? I mean, I guess that's where he stays when he's there. But I'm like, why are they always just hanging out at her house? And they all like love going there too.
They love it. Rod was like, I want to be invited back, so I'm not going to spill anything. JT was like, show me around. I love this place. Yeah. But other than that, other than eating charcuterie, not a lot happened in this little gathering.
No, right? I know. I was like, didn't we like just do this? But okay. Yeah. But yeah, Craig is still saying, like, Austin was opening up about going to therapy to Craig, and Craig is still in his confessional was like, Austin talking to Olivia is not what's best for her. So he still staunchly thinks that.
Craig's like storyline through this whole thing, now that he's said it multiple times, is just that like Olivia is ultimately going to hate Austin again once the grieving ends. And so far there are no signs of that.
No.
I mean, unless it gets worse and worse, and then Olivia does start to treat Austin differently. But right now, she is loving the Austin relationship.
Right. Yeah.
That he's there for her. Right?
Yeah. I mean.
So I don't know why. I don't know. Craig's like, this is one philosophy of his that is just not panning out. But he's saying it all the time.
Right. I mean, I'm sure they both need to be careful, or like she needs to be careful about her expectations moving forward, that just because they're bonding over this doesn't mean they're going to like get back together or that anything has changed.
But does Austin even want to get back together with Olivia? That's
what I'm saying. Yeah. But like if she's not over him, it could be dangerous ground for them to like get close again.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So yeah. Oh my God. Wait, the next part was so sad. Madison's son got bitten by a rabid boy.
There was a rabid boy walking around Madison's neighborhood, and unfortunately, he was biting everyone in his sight.
Head to toe.
Head to toe. It was so sad. If that would have happened in last week's episode and just been spliced in, it would have been the saddest episode of Bravo in history. You remember all those sad scenes back to back? This was like, I like seeing a boy come in from home with red cheeks, and he had this expression on his face that I couldn't read, but Madison as a mom knew that this is his I'm about to cry.
It was so sad and sweet.
And then there well, yeah, it was so sweet how they rallied around them. Them taking care of him, it was like parental mode was just completely turned on. Like they turned into the best parents I've ever seen.
Yeah. I felt bad that it was on camera. But
me too.
I was
it was
like,
almost
too
leave
him alone.
It was almost too real to watch.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, whoa, I need some narrative distance there.
Yeah.
But they don't know what the hell happened when he came in. He's dirty as hell. He's got scratches all over. Brett says he crashed on his bike because they can't believe it.
Yeah.
And then he says, a rabid boy was walking around biting every boy in sight. He said that he's trying to, he's obviously having a hard time articulating because he's like so shocked. And he says that like some other people were watching this fight and they were like saying, stop biting him. Stop biting him. It was horrible. Yeah. And then they like Madison she's very, strong. She goes, do you want me to, beat the shit out of that kid? Like I will tear that kid apart.
Yeah.
And then once he goes upstairs to get cleaned up, she like just breaks down crying.
He's like the last age that a boy can be cute. Like he's still like a little baby that you feel sorry for. But I feel like in like 1 year, you'll be like, oh, you're fine.
What do you mean?
Like he's like still a little boy. I mean, I don't know how old he is. How old is he?
I don't know.
I think he's at least like 8.
Yeah. I mean, I was like, I never got in a fight when I was that young. And I was like, little boys fight like that? Like
I know, this kid seemed like a real psychopath.
If I saw 2 8-year-olds, if I was driving by in a neighborhood, for some reason I was looking at 2 8-year-olds fighting and biting each other and rolling around in the mud, I'd be like, what the hell is happening?
I know.
I didn't think that kids that young would fight.
Lord of the Flies vibes.
Lord of the total flies.
What if we had the footage and Hudson, that's his name, right?
Yeah.
Was outside and he was like, hey, bitch, like, I'll kill you.
I will say a dark part of me was like, Hudson, were you fully blamed? I'm saying 100% that this was the sweetest, sad scene ever in the world, but I was like, Hudson, did you say? No, I bet he was clear. He seems like a very sweet boy. Remember when he was getting his hair brushed and he's like, what did he say? Like, I love my hair like that, mommy.
It was just like he was so like defenseless. Like he just came in and like he like needed his mommy and just like melted into her arms. He like needed a hug so bad.
And Brett, I mean, I thought Brett was like the perfect person in that. And Madison
Yeah.
calls it out too. She's like, he is so neutral. He's like, Madison, no, you can't go beat up that kid. Wait, can I tell you one quick Lord of the Flies thing?
Yeah.
You know how that's a reference for like boys killing each other or whatever?
Yeah.
But that was based off a real story where a bunch of boys, I forget their affiliation, but they all got stranded on an island together. And those boys actually, instead of fighting and murdering each other, they created a beautiful, harmonious society. Like, truly, they created like they went to work. They
Like
survived.
Boy Scouts?
Boy Scouts. Like I don't even know if they were Boy Scouts, but for 6 months they created like a perfect society. And then when they were rescued or whatever, they were just totally fine. So the guy wanted to create a subversion of that where everything went wrong.
Interesting.
Isn't that interesting that our one like thing we would pull is Lord of the Flies, that kids stranded would like start to kill each other, but it's based off.
Piggy got to keep his glasses.
Yeah, they were like, they would help him. They'd build him new glasses. Like, it was not actually what people do in that environment.
It's interesting.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. I just learned that fact, and I thought it's interesting because it's like books and movies and stuff inform a worldview of like, that's the thing we call to mind, not the thing that was actually based on, which is the exact opposite.
I have to read that wiki article, whatever that incident was.
Can I send it to you after?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, that was sweet, and it was almost like the timing was just like they were filming, and I don't know what Madison and Brett ultimately wanted to do with that scene, and it just got fully subverted to something very real.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this over and over again, so I want to say it now. Madison is like a goddamn star.
Yeah.
Like her come up from Austin's girlfriend in season 6 or season 7 to just 4th main cast member on this show is amazing.
Yeah. She's like fiery in a way that doesn't feel fake.
No.
You know?
Exactly right. Yeah.
Like when she starts shit, you're like, I think she actually can't help herself.
When she brings it to Taylor, which we'll get to in this
Yeah.
dinner, I'm like, everything Madison is saying is justified. I don't feel like this is put on to make this dinner more dramatic. I feel like she senses a huge double standard here and wants to call it out because she was treated like shit by all of these guy cast members. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, no, it feels genuine. And then the next part is, for some reason, we have to watch Rod and Olivia on another date.
Stop it.
You love it?
I'm
just like, they're not going to end up together. Don't waste my time.
So, and you know that for a fact.
I mean, wouldn't we know?
Well, I was wondering, like, do they keep it a secret? No, right? Because if they are dating, you just see them out in the world.
Yeah.
So
I think he's just really nice to her and she appreciates it, but I don't think she like wants to have sex with him.
That's what I thought 2 episodes ago. He is being very sweet. And again, this was another scene where I sensed some chemistry. Like, he's being a great person to her in a time of need.
Yeah.
But you're right. Maybe it won't go past that if the chemistry is not there.
Well, also, I bet she, despite her best interests, prefers someone hard to get. You know?
I mean, I guess going from being really attracted to Austin and that type of
cat and mouse
game that she's got going with Austin, then to go to Rod where he's like, I live by a code and I never eat salad.
Yeah, what the hell? Did you like her necklace? Did you notice it?
No, what
she
was
has the Elvis TCB necklace. It's like a lightning bolt and it says TCB, taking care of business. It was like Elvis's like catchphrase.
Really?
Yeah.
Elvis's catchphrase was taking care of business?
Yeah. In the Baz Luhrmann movie, on all of like the key art and stuff, it said like TCB with a lightning bolt.
Do they ever address it in a spoken way that's his motto?
I don't think so.
Wait.
Which, like, I don't really know the history of that, and I thought it was confusing because I always think of taking care of business.
Me too. I think of that.
Which is like unrelated to Elvis.
Taking care of business. That wasn't Elvis?
Every day.
That song's awesome.
And working overtime. Right.
Taking care of business. Taking care of business was Elvis's motto. And then, speaking of Elvis, then Olivia says that, or someone says that Whitney, when he pulls up in that yellow mustard
Yeah, she
suit at
does
the
say
dinner,
that. And I was like,
says,
Elvis fan.
We got a huge Elvis fan on our hands. I want to ask that if we're writing up questions for potential Bravocon, if we see Olivia, how much do you like Elvis?
Yeah, it seems like a lot.
Right, 2 Elvis references within
Back to back.
That's amazing. So yeah, not a lot to be parsed through on this Rod and Olivia. No. I was happy that they went on another date. I was happy it wasn't one and done.
Yeah.
Rod does a little bit of shots fired towards Austin. He says, I live by a beautiful code in which,
Also known as values.
I have values.
Yeah.
Austin says he lives by values, but Truly, he does not. He says he does.
He snakes his way out of them or something.
He says he likes to sound like a victim, even though he is the cause of a lot of problems.
I know. I was like, are you going to say that to his face?
Yeah.
Damn.
I was like, you were just at that charcuterie dinner at Whitney's bonding with him or whatever. Actually, they had a really awkward moment. It looked like they were never going to talk again.
Right.
So maybe he would be willing to. But then did you watch the mid-season trailer for Southern Charm?
I didn't because it came out before I watched this episode and I wanted to wait.
Okay. Well, JT takes up for Rod potentially, and he brings the fury to Austin.
Ooh, JT is a righteous man.
Both Rod and JT are righteous. And Rodrigo, we don't know his values yet, but they're righteous. They feel, part of them, and I don't know if it's like producers whispering in their ear, but a part of them are like, you're the new generation of boys. Show these old generation of boys what the new, even though JT is like a very much a contemporary of them and grew up in the exact same society as them, Rod is really a counter to them.
Yeah, totally. I mean, also, I feel like JT's opinions are completely fueled by the fact that he is jealous and wants to date Taylor.
Yeah, I will get to it, but I didn't really buy his righteous fury towards Shep.
Right.
It felt a little unearned, and he kind of kept going. I mean, we'll talk about
Yeah.
it. Well, this whole episode really is like, I looked at it, it's like 20 minutes was dedicated to JT's dinner. It's like that was a huge focal point of this, which I love that. I love when it's just an all cast for as long as you can sustain it, because when there's that many people in the room, just so much stuff can happen.
Totally.
Party energy, fights.
Yeah. And I will say I am against his Airbnb scheme, but that place looks really cool.
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, can we talk about it now?
We're
Are we
there.
getting to JT's
We're
dinner?
there, yeah.
Okay, so JT, he wanted to show off this Airbnb, and he was going to do a launch party. But then, unfortunately, it's not in good taste to host a party. It went in the wake of what Olivia is suffering through. So he says, hey, this isn't a party. This is a dinner to showcase my Airbnb.
Right.
And then when everybody arrives, we find out that this was converted from a sort of like illegal prohibition style speakeasy where people could drink, right? It was like it was an unofficial bar.
Well, then they were saying that all during COVID, it's where they hung out as a COVID speakeasy because none of the bars and stuff were open to stop the spread of COVID. And JT was facilitating these super spreader hangs where Shep would like cheat on Taylor and they would party.
Yeah, they all comment on it. They all say what they did during this prohibition era, where they couldn't drink or whatever. Shep was like, I remember being in that back room with a couple of ladies. And then he goes, wait, no, I don't remember that because I would have surely been dating Taylor at that time.
Why would he say that?
Because he just forgot the timeline. Like he just didn't realize that saying an anecdote about his past. I don't know why he would ever say that, but he just didn't remember that timeline because people can pinpoint COVID exactly what you're doing. Yeah. So if he gave himself a timeline where he was dating Taylor, so he had to fully retract it.
Well, it's funny now on basically all of the shows on flashbacks, they like it happened on Orange County. I think it happened in Beverly Hills where it'll be like, Kyle and Dorit talking about their friendship and it'll be like, we've gone on many trips. And then it'll be like them on a plane together and it'll be like 2020. And I'm like, what the hell were you guys doing? Like, I'm like, I don't know if they posted that at the time or, you know what I mean?
Anytime they show a flashback where you're like, wait, that was during COVID.
I'm like, none of us could do shit in 2020, like at all.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, man.
And I feel like Craig had the most like aware opinion of that. Like he was like, JT helped spread COVID around Charleston. Like, I feel like he spends time in New York now. So he like knows the outside world is going to like judge,
Well, I was surprised that landed okay for JT because 2 years ago, if they would have said that in 2021, that you were spreading a super spreader bar.
Then JT made a joke. He was like, we created a new variant up in here, basically.
I was like, whoa, you guys are comfortable like talking about like spreading COVID.
I know.
Like, we're in a different world
I'm sure
now.
a lot of people would be offended by that still, but they were like, Craig made a joke like, yeah, we've got a lot of variants going around. And then Taylor makes a kind of a funny joke. She's like, what should we call it? The Chucktown clap.
Yeah,
Which
'cause-
I didn't know that we could call it Chucktown.
I didn't know either.
I was like, I guess that makes sense.
So Craig is nervous to say this. You can tell the minute it's out of his mouth, he doesn't want to specifically say, but he's talking about the chlamydia strain that Danny was accused of, that
God,
Shep
yeah.
giving to her. So like, this is the second. I never thought we'd hear from chlamydia again, because that was supposedly the reason why Cameron and Chelsea and
Oh, right.
Naomi all left the show, because it got too crass and
Right.
disgusting when Madison got there.
Right.
Then Craig's like, we've been spreading chlamydia like crazy.
Chlamydia and COVID.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was funny.
Oh, I do wish that there was like summer house style cameras in JT's speakeasy during that time.
Yeah.
Because imagine the wild stuff that you would have seen in that speakeasy during COVID.
Man.
If no cameras had to be in there, like no production had to be in there.
I'm picturing it's only lit by like gas lamps.
seriously,
It like
yeah.
looks like the like scenes inside like Django Unchained.
Right.
Like, just like creepy. So yeah, and then right before this conversation, like Vanita and Madison are talking. Vanita fills Madison in on the Taylor Olivia hangout situation.
Vanita says it in the most way it could be taken the most offensively to Madison.
Right.
Just she
Yeah.
says like, so I was talking to Taylor, and Taylor said Olivia needs to be around her real friends now, which is like the worst summation of what Taylor actually said.
Right.
Really, Vanita was trying to keep Taylor from a grieving event with her actual good friend,
Right.
saying that she was all over the place and they didn't want her energy there.
Right.
And Taylor called out rightly that she's closer to Olivia than Vanita, most
Right.
likely.
Yeah, she framed it for herself.
Yeah, and then Madison, that's like another huge mark against Taylor, which I was trying to track how Madison's views on Taylor have changed throughout this season, because she got invited to her wedding and they were fine. But then Taylor got Madison a dildo.
Right.
Remember? And Madison was like, oh man, someone who is like a holy person or godly
Yeah.
person giving me a dildo, like what's going on here? And then it
Right.
just seems like it's gotten progressively worse with like how Madison is viewing Taylor in
Right.
this
Yeah.
in this new way post
And then she like fought with Craig at her like wedding party.
which she already didn't like that.
And then obviously all the Olivia stuff, etc. So yeah, then they talk about, she reveals the nudes. She's like, Patricia told me. She's shocked. Then Vanita.
Yeah, it starts to spread much like chlamydia.
Exactly.
It's,
Then she tells
Vanita
Leva.
tells Leva. Leva is stunned, and then they're talking about it. And Craig it's basically like, yeah, exactly like spreading COVID. Then Craig was witness to that conversation. He goes, I got to get out of here. I'm going to go
flees.
spread it over to the guys.
Yeah.
Then he tells the guys, which it was funny. Remember when he jumps up on the couch and he
Yeah.
puts his feet all over JT's pillows, and she
Yeah.
goes, Craig, please.
And then he kicks them off and puts his bare feet on it, which is like even grosser in my opinion.
Why did he have to sit like that?
Sicko. Then in the next shot, he's sitting like cross-legged, and I'm like, yeah, both of your choices there were very strange.
Right.
Also, I'm like, I don't know. Imagine he was not wearing socks. He was wearing like loafers.
Right.
He kicked. I bet his feet smell like shit.
I know. I think that's what they were all reacting
They're
to.
like, ah.
And then Craig goes, Shep, you better go over there because something is being talked about that you'll want to know. And then Shep learns it. And then Shep really, really has he is defending Taylor despite everything he hears. It's pretty, I don't know if it's honorable or self-serving, but he's like very defensive of Taylor post his breakup. He really,
Do you like how he described what she went through? He said that she had been through a tempest.
he goes, Taylor has been in a tempest, which I thought was beautiful.
Was that like a storm?
I think, yeah, a tempest is a storm. Taylor in a tempest.
He's Shakespeare pilled.
Oh, he loves Shakespeare. And he goes, so really, I have to deem whatever she did post a breakup with me as trying to hurt me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's the right read. And
Yeah.
then he says, Taylor, he has a private moment with Taylor. He goes, Taylor, I got to tell you something. Just so you know, that it's going around
Yeah.
that you sent, he says, what, provocative, risque, bedroom? No, he says boob photos.
Yeah.
He says,
And she tries to say it was so dark, you like can barely see anything, like whatever. And then in her confessional, she defends herself saying, God created the body, like Jesus isn't going to hate me for sending some nudes or whatever, which I'm like, I don't even like think that way. Like I feel like Madison's main argument is like, if you're going to be like a Bible, what did she call it? Like a Bible
Beater?
bunkers.
Bible bonkers, I think.
Bible beater, that, you know, it's hypocritical to, I don't know, send nudes or have sex or whatever. And I'm like, I don't even like think that way.
Me either.
Like,
I
I don't care.
I
Like,
don't know. I mean, I guess, I don't care either. I don't know. I do think that there's what they ultimately get to is that there was a double standard for Taylor and how the men are treating her.
that was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then they finally go to dinner after this conversation's happened. JT does a toast. He's a good host.
Yeah. Oh, he's great. I mean, this party was great.
Yeah. Like I was thinking, I was like, it looked like they had every kind of drink you could want. There were appetizers going around. There was like a salad course, like a main course. Like everyone was like well taken care of at this event. But yeah, this is where Rod reveals he's never had salad in his life.
Yeah. I was shocked.
He was like, "You're gluten free. I'm salad free." I was like, "The hell?"
You've never just been curious to even have one, even a salad where you could make it the closest to like, you know, what you want to eat, like meat.
Like, a wedge salad. Like it's literally just like blue cheese and like bacon.
Or even like a hamburger. You could sort of cut that up and put extra lettuce that would have been in the hamburger and sort of make like an approximation of a salad.
I mean, I get, I'm not like a salad head.
Me neither.
But sometimes a salad is good.
I have a salad once every 3 weeks, and I like them when I have them. They're not great.
I prefer a chopped salad.
Yeah.
Easier to eat.
Oh,
you know?
what's that? Like when the lettuce is cut?
Yeah. Like everything's all like mixed together and the lettuce is like small.
I really like that type of salad too. I get those pre-bagged salads from Trader Joe's, like butter lettuce ones or whatever. They're just, I mean, I'll be honest, it's kind of easy when it's just a bag of all the stuff that you need to just throw in and mix.
Yeah, I should buy those more, but I feel like they always rot in my fridge because I never want to eat that.
I currently have some butter lettuce, you know, that is also needs to be thrown out pretty soon.
Have you seen that meme or whatever format? It's always like the changing of the guard, and it's like taking out the rotten salad and putting a fresh one in. You just like play that charade forever because
No, I like
you're
that.
like, I will eat salad this time.
Yeah, I like that. So what? Okay, so then Shep goes to Madison and he goes, "Hey, just so you know," very quietly across the table where everyone is listening to them. He goes, "Hey, just so you know, I talked to Taylor and she explained why she did it. She said nothing was really that bad in him. It was kind of just a dark, provocative photo to Whitney or whatever." And Madison goes, "Wait, what?" She goes, "I saw your I mean, she says it, tits and vagina in that photo."
And the caption was, "Come one, come all."
Yeah, and then Taylor then says, "I would like to." She knows what they're talking about, and she's the one who actually commands the entire table to focus on.
Yeah,
this.
she's like, ding, ding, ding. She's like, just so you know, since you guys are all talking about this photo, it's a picture where you can't see anything, whatever. And Madison's like, "I beg to differ, bitch. I could see your tits and your vagina."
Now, where do you fall on this photo? If I have to believe that it was more risque than Taylor is leading us to believe.
Right. I mean, what's the point of sending a photo that's like dark?
Right. Yeah, and then Taylor is stunned that Madison called out actually what it was and said the caption.
Right. Come one, come all. And then it turns out that Craig calls out Whitney and said, "Whitney showed me the picture," which I'm like, that's so bad.
And Whitney goes, "No, I didn't. No, I didn't." He goes, "It's a joke. It was a joke. It was a complete joke." And Craig goes, and Craig says, "I knew I shouldn't have been seeing this."
He's like, "That was really bad, Whitney."
So Craig is 2 for 2 in calling out people for.
I'm like, is that like revenge porn? Like spreading like the image of like, I was like, that's like scary.
I have the worst opinion of Whitney, so I was like, okay, that's one dock against Whitney's character again.
Totally.
Yeah.
We also skipped. There was a quick right before all of this happened. They were joking about the Civil War, which was kind of fun.
Oh, I liked that.
Craig, because he's from Delaware, was like, "I'm a winner, bitch. Fuck you guys," and they were all going back and forth.
Yeah, and JT goes, "It always comes back to the Civil War," which I love.
I'm like, I need that in every episode to like prove the premise of the show,
Yeah,
like
I
forever.
That. And also, I mean, we got a little bit more Civil War in Winter House.
It's true. I don't remember.
I knew you didn't the way you said it. That was a classic. It's true. Casey talks about the Civil War with Schwartz, and Schwartz, they have this like
Okay.
sort of they have a topic about, or a talk about like literary stuff they like in the Museum of Natural History or whatever, and she talks about this. She goes, "I'm reading an interesting book about the Civil War, in which I found out that the Civil War revolutionized the funeral industry in America."
She's
Schwartz
annoying,
goes,
in my opinion.
"What? Oh my god! I was
We'll
just gonna
get
say I
there.
liked her." Okay, so then the entire table conversation devolves around scrutiny about the nudes.
Yeah.
And Shep, when Madison gets fired up, and Madison starts to bring to everyone's attention that there is a double standard here. Taylor presents herself one way, and then she is, doing all these things behind the scenes, like making out with Olivia's, ex-boyfriend or whatever Olivia and Austin are. And now she's sending nudes.
Yeah.
And I did like when Rod, it got to Olivia, where Madison was, sticking up for Olivia, and Rod just did a gentle, Olivia, are you okay?
Yeah.
And
I had to rewind it because I thought, for a second, I thought he was asking her, do you want to leave?
And the look on her face, you could tell, it was getting a little uncomfortable,
Yeah.
territory that she just wasn't ready to talk about in her grief. And I
Yeah.
loved that check-in. I was like, man.
No, that was nice. And then JT is like, ding, ding, ding. He's like, now... He's like, we must treat the ladies with respect, or whatever.
Yeah, he's like, I got something to say.
And then I liked, it kind of feels like it's going to be okay again, but then it goes right back. And then Madison is like, if you're going to be a hoochie, be one, own it.
Yeah.
I think she said that in her confessional, but.
Yeah. And then Shep really defends Taylor. And he goes, you had that view of Taylor, that she's holier than thou. That's not actually her or whatever. And then Madison immediately goes, you're one, you can't speak about this. Shut up or whatever. And he goes, you're always the woman shouting from the mountaintop, he says.
Oh, yeah. Like a banshee.
Yeah, like a banshee. Anyway. And
Yeah.
they sort of go back and forth. And then it's because Shep and Madison are fighting that JT immediately says, let's, tone it down. He goes, Taylor may have had issues in the past, but I feel like they're all male related. So he's really defending all of the women at the table.
Right. Madison is saying how all the guys love that Taylor is supposedly a Bible bonker, and meanwhile they were all accusing her of if they did the flashback of Craig accusing her of fucking A-Rod, and they were all very obsessed with her sex life,
Yeah.
And she said at the dinner table, she's like, I claim to be a slut. I'm just retired. She's like, I own my promiscuity or whatever. And she feels like Taylor is hiding behind being Jesus girl.
Yeah. Madison had a lot of great off the cuff lines about sending a nude. She goes, what am I, damn dead and living under a rock? Of course I sent nudes. I was like, damn,
Totally.
I'm dead under a rock.
I know. None of the other girls would really own it. They were would rather die than say, even though it's well, then obviously yes, if you're not just saying no.
I feel like the sense I got from that montage was that every single one of them had sent nudes.
Of course. Anyways.
So Leva, in the confessional, the producers ask, why is Taylor receiving this double standard where the men at the table are either not saying one word about this, or Shep is actively defending Taylor and her past.
Yeah. Remember, he's like, they're like, Shep, shut the fuck up. And he's like, everything comes out in the wash.
Yes.
Trust me there. Everything comes out in the wash. I was like, you're scary. What's your deal? I think he was also wasted at this point. Everyone was just drinking to deal with how awkward the whole thing was.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it was great. I mean, a very active, fun dinner. I was proud of JT for putting that dinner on.
It was good.
And they had something real to address, something that was teased properly throughout. We saw it get disseminated in a real way, even though obviously the reason why they're bringing it up is so that they have something big to talk about at this dinner.
Yeah.
But I don't know, the personalities of everyone at the table really shined. It's such a great cast, and it was just fun. I could watch them do anything.
Also, Vanita finally gets to go to a main event, and she has to leave early.
It was timed very badly, where she had to go, but she still wanted to be as much a part of it as she could. So right when she sat down to dinner, she goes, I actually have to leave.
Missed all the action. Yeah. I was like, wow. I mean, maybe it's just that whatever her influencer lifestyle is doesn't afford enough availability for the show. I don't know. I'm just you got to be there for these big things,
Yeah.
But anyways,
So anything else about, I mean, I don't know if I watched the scenes. Oh yeah, they go on a boys trip to North Carolina, which looks fun.
Yeah.
Them all in a Sprinter van chugging
boys,
drinks.
all boys.
Austin says he wants to be better to Olivia. They have another talk, and like, I think they're kind of like leaning into like Austin maybe is trying to get her back, but I don't think that'll be the case.
Yeah. The Watch What Happens Live after this episode was Kristen Stewart and someone else. And there's just a funny moment when Andy was asking the other guest about RHONY, and Kristen Stewart went, "What's RHONY?"
Oh, wow.
And he was like, "Oh, sorry, Real Housewives of New York." And I was like, I wonder like what percentage of Americans would know what RHONY is.
I know. It's such a good acronym.
Because it's like the only one that really works.
Right. You can't
Right?
call, yeah.
Sometimes I say like Rosie.
And I say Ronja. But yeah, none of them work. RHONY
RHONY.
is the best by far.
Did you ever watch that show, The Other Two?
Yeah.
They say RHONY on it, and I was like, oh, I feel seen. Like it cuts through the middleman.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Wait, you're right. There's no other franchise where, what would you say the one you can...
Rosie.
You say Rosie for Salt Lake?
OC.
Oh. You say Rosie? Oh, yeah. Okay, that one's good.
Rosie.
Right. RHOC. Rosie. Okay. Yeah, that one's good. Yeah, but none of the other ones you could even try.
RHOBH.
And then Potomac's RHOP.
That's kind of good.
RHOP.
RHOP.
Hey, if you're a little turtle cutie, let's start calling Potomac once we're in that era RHOP.
RHOP.
Because like IHOP.
Yeah, it's cute.
Okay, so RHONY, RHOP, and then Rosie.
Yeah, and then I guess Dallas could have been Rhodey.
So you like pronouncing the end. Well, I guess because RHONY, it doesn't matter. Was that Watch What Happens Live informative in any way?
I love Kristen Stewart, but she's not very good on a talk show. She's just so like nervous and weird.
Huh, I can't imagine that. Okay. Well, so where are you at in your piss factor?
I think I could make it through one more show, but if you need to go, I'll pause.
No, let's keep all of this piss energy for Beverly Hills, which was
Okay.
I thought good. I'm not going to speak early, but I thought it was great. And then piss, and then we have just oh God, Salt Lake City, Winter House, and okay, well yeah, after Beverly Hills. Okay.
An unwise surprise.
All right. Was this surprise unwise?
Not really.
It was awesome.
Like I don't get what all the drama was about. It was like not a big deal.
This had okay. So well, you want to talk general? How did you feel about Beverly Hills this episode?
I was entertained. We were saying earlier, like it's a little annoying that I feel like specifically this year they've really embraced the format of saving the juiciest part for the last 1 minute and then making you wait until the next week. I mean, maybe they've always done that, but it feels like recently it's happened on like every Housewives episode in the past like month.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of backloaded / to be continued.
Yeah. So it's a little annoying because like the best, most interesting part didn't even happen on this episode.
For me, this episode had enough fun stuff. Like, trying to think of another word than fun. Enough just stuff
Juice.
that there was some juice. I mean, I thought I really did like Kyle and Mauricio's Portia birthday for the low level of just tension in the relationship. I felt like it felt real because there wasn't just an explosive moment. It felt more like, trying to behave appropriately in that kind of environment. But your
real.
fight is shining through a little bit.
Totally.
And then I loved every single minute of. I mean, I've never loved Dorit and PK more. And I'm not a Dorit head.
Yeah.
Like I feel like she's bringing it this season.
Yeah.
And maybe some Dorit, a fan will say Dorit's always been amazing. You just didn't, like her or whatever. But I actually, I thought this was amazing.
Yeah.
overall.
It was also like pretty silly, like
silly.
just light.
This had light, silly energy, and also the wealth displayed. I was like stunned by, which I don't know why, because I know Beverly Hills is the most luxurious. That's like what it's known for. But for some reason, I've been in we together have been in a wealth, maybe drought the last 6 months, even though everyone is wealthy that we're watching. But so this felt like on another level, like back to private jets, back to diamonds. $5 million diamonds on loan.
Yeah.
So that
Berlin. Berlin.
Berlin, the band. So actually, this had enough for me to where when the To Be Continued happened, I was just like amped up. I was like, okay, well, the next episode's going to be good too.
Totally.
I'm excited for Sutton. I mean, she rarely has gets super upset, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah. They say so. Dorit and Erica have a little picnic to I don't know, I guess go over their shit, which not much happens there.
Did you think that was ostentatious for a 2-person hang?
I was like, how much did that cost?
I really thought every single cast member was
I know.
gonna come
I
to
was
that.
like, okay, Erica's coming. Who else is coming? Then I was like, oh, it's just for them.
Okay, yeah, and the main focus of this was Dorit wanted a second apology because she didn't think the first one was good enough, so this was so unnecessary because actually Erica's apology was very good.
Right.
The first episode, Dorit said, you didn't lead with an apology, but Erica cried and said, I'll never do something like that again. I will work my entire life to making that better for you. It was like the most 100% apology you could ever get from someone. So the need for another one was ridiculous.
Right.
And then Erica just says the same thing. She
Right.
goes, I forget what she said. She was just like, I know I did that. I'll never do it again. And I will forever make it up to you.
It's like they planned this scene before the
Yes.
other one and they didn't know they were going to have that box checked already.
Right. And then Dorit goes, this was the apology I wanted. And it's like, it was the exact same, if not worse.
Right.
The other one was better.
Yeah. And then she, based off of what she had said, she talks about the rough patch in her marriage. And then she reveals that she was robbed again.
Okay.
That she went to the ATM, got 10 grand out for
Which-
holiday shopping.
Well, so we all do it. I mean, when I'm getting ready for the holidays.
Can you even get that much out of an ATM?
Well, yeah, like around December 10th when you're starting to shop, you go to the bank, you get your 10 grand out. I was just surprised she put it in her handbag and left it unattended.
Yeah,
no,
what
I'm
the
just
fuck?
No, I'm just kidding. But why? So I asked this, but I want to hear your answer. I mean, I've heard a little bit of some rationale, but why do you need to take a big lump sum of cash out before you do shopping?
It's kind of shady.
Like,
I thought she was going to start talking about the money problem rumors. And then she was like, but I was followed by 3 men and I looked down and my bag was gone. But yeah, it's like, I'd be surprised if any of the stores she goes to even take cash.
Right. I was thinking cash, if you were doing that to make it minimize your stress, that is way more stressful. Counting out bills, thinking about all of it.
It's giving Teresa Giudice season 1.
Why does she use a lot of cash?
She pays $100 grand of cash buying furniture for their house.
The IRS can't track cash.
Right.
If you're in a cash business like Turtle Time.
Yeah.
The
We
IRS
actually have a nail salon that we funnel our money through.
I know, it's amazing because really you just put up a receipt, but they don't know how much cash you
Nail
have on hand.
salon, laundromat,
Yeah.
car wash.
Laundering is something that I didn't know about 5 years ago, but there's so many shows now about laundering that I feel like I know every aspect of it. It's
wash
easy.
that cash.
Yeah, and they don't have a record of how cash is. So is Dorit doing something like that?
Maybe. Weren't there rumors about was there bankruptcy or something with PK about money?
I mean, they're not. I thought the impression was that they're sort of financially strapped, but in a way, I don't know how that could be. Dorit's been on this show for 8 years. PK seems to have some sort of business. If I remember last season, he got bankrupted $1 billion business or something,
God.
right? But
I mean, they spend so over their means, as we've learned, with Kim Zolciak and stuff, a housewife salary should be enough for most average people, but the way that they live is so insane.
Andy said that about Erica too. When Erica was saying I have no money, I'm rubbing 2 pennies together. He goes, I've seen your salary that you make, and it's not bad.
Yeah.
So I guess if we saw it, we'd be astonished, but they just live so beyond their means.
Yeah,
that,
and Andy said, was it in his book, or it was basically revealed that, Dorit's known for wearing head to toe labels. That's her style, is to wear the most expensive brands
that's
all
our
the
style
time.
too.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're looking at the YouTube, it's kind of amazing that we did both of
My
our.
Ken and Lisa Treehouse restaurant.
And I'm dressed like the Chanel full outfit.
But it was revealed that she buys that stuff. Most people that wear those brands, they're hiring a stylist and kind of borrowing, but she pays retail, because in that part in Andy's book when he goes to Cannes with Dorit and Garcelle, they went to Chanel and all these places, and he said she was just buying shit at the store,
Right.
straight up.
Oh, right. I remember that anecdote.
And it's why?
She loves fashion, and maybe the fashion that she wants access to does not give out stuff. Like, remember when Luann tried to get Carol's dress fashion designer to loan her a dress, and Carol was like, she makes dresses for Michelle Obama. She's not lending out dresses to reality stars. So
Go to Giovanni, bitch.
Right. Yeah. So maybe there's sort of that. It's like she's not treated really well in the celebrity world. Like, that's a lower tier.
It's such a poor investment. Like, I understand. I'll defend the Birkin culture because even though they're so egregiously expensive, they hold value like art.
Would you ever buy one?
No. Not worth it. I don't care about bags.
Do you remember Patricia's beautiful Birkin?
Oh, yeah. What was it? Like pink alligator or something?
There was only one of like 10.
It was like $1 million or something.
I would buy one.
But the thing is, though, like, I've gotten on Birkin TikTok a little bit. And first of all, it's almost impossible to buy one. Like, there's a waiting list. You have to have a relationship with your store clerk where they call you. You say, like, which ones you like, and they'll call you if one becomes available. So they're really hard to get.
Let's do that waiting list. You and I.
Let's call them.
No, let's just get on the waiting list. And then when they call, say, I'm so sorry, I can't afford it.
We're like...
just hang up immediately. Named after Jane Birkin, I learned.
That's right. Who iconically treated her Birkin bags like absolute shit. And they would always just have like books and like newspaper and like baguettes coming out.
She goes, I need a new bag, because she had a bag on a plane and it had a bunch of baguettes in it, and it was just such a mess. She goes, I need a new bag that holds baguettes, books, and whatever. And then
cigarettes.
This French designer goes, I'll make a bag and I'll name it after you, and it's going to be expensive.
Yeah. But anyways, they're so hard to get that the aftermarket, like the resale market, is like through the roof. So even if you did pay like 50 grand for one, it's probably gonna be worth 75 in like 10 years.
All right.
If you take care of it. Relatable advice for our listeners.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I'm like, at least there you know that you could get what you paid for it or more. But if you buy like Balenciaga pants for like 3 grand,
yeah,
you're not going to get your money back.
So if we ever did buy, Balenciaga pants or whatever, it's like, well, that's not a good investment.
No.
But I do think aspirationally, if you and I put ourselves on the Birkin bag waiting list, we know we have a goal to rise up to where maybe when they call in 6 months to a year, we've made that money.
Yeah, we should get like a green one for turtle time.
That would be awesome. And then we would just set it, I don't know if you can see on YouTube, obviously, but on your table right there, we just have a Birkin bag in the front.
Do you know what kind of hardware you'd want on it? Like platinum, gold?
I guess I'll just go with whatever's the most expensive.
Okay.
Okay, so I think we can breeze through this, not to short shrift our listeners, but Sutton and Garcelle stuff, I like it, and I like their friendship, and I like Sutton's journey this season. Potentially her journey. She's getting hooked. I don't know. Do you want to spend some time on it? I'm just thinking about our 3-hour window here.
I'll just say she's talking about dating and how she's bad at it and has the matchmaker. They bring up her cat sweater again. And I'm like, I saw no problem with the cat sweater.
They are making too much of a meal out of Sutton's inability to attract someone based off the clothes that they think are lame.
Right. Which I'm like, she dresses how she dresses. So if she's going to date someone, they're going to have to like the way she dresses.
Yeah. There is someone that would be attracted to Sutton in that cat sweater.
Yeah.
And so I do think that although this seems like something that almost any single person in the Bravo universe could do as a storyline, I actually like this for Sutton just because we have seen this dating journey or whatever. I do think, and she's so particular in what she wants that I think I'm personally interested to see if this like could work. Right.
Yeah, she said that she's people find her intimidating and that her intellect is superior to most.
I think that's true. Do you think she's smart? We never talked about Sutton.
Yeah.
I love Sutton.
Yeah.
I think she's my favorite, second favorite cast member on Beverly Hills.
Okay. I feel like I ebb and flow with her because, like, there's something kind of annoying about her to me of, like, I guess her high and mightiness. But I also think that she is fun and she's rich. Which I like to watch.
Yeah, I like when Lisa Rinna specifically remarks on just how much richer actually Sutton is than all of them.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. I'm like...
So she's very particular with this matchmaker. And the matchmaker goes, I have this philosophy. You're going to love it. It's men lead. in my matchmaking, and Sutton's like, what? She's like, that's going to be a
No
problem.
can do.
I don't want to. But what does a matchmaker mean? The man has to set up all the dates and the future dates, and do you have to be beholden to what the man's schedule is in this scenario?
I mean,
It was just weird that the matchmaker went all out on a philosophy that just immediately rubbed Sutton the wrong way.
right. I mean, yeah, especially I feel like it's probably extra hard for a woman her age. What is she? Is she 50?
You know what?
Something?
I don't know.
I'm going to go ahead and say she's 50.
I'm going to say she's 46.
Okay. I'd be surprised, but
Okay.
but anyways, I feel like that's probably hard to jump in at that point because men of that age probably are like used to getting their way or whatever.
What does it mean to lead in the matchmaking
I
process?
don't know. It's like something just like with the dynamic of like letting a man be the man.
But in the dates, like in the matchmaking process, what I don't.
Yeah, but I mean,
Do you think that they just say I don't? Because it kind of just goes right in line with Sutton's storyline that she said last week of like I want the power in my relationship.
Right.
Do you think that did she just say the opposite so that Sutton could refute
Maybe.
it? I
Maybe.
mean, because it
Yeah.
just doesn't make any sense. And why would someone contemporarily as a matchmaker would say that in this contemporary climate? Say let the man lead. Like it just sounded very off.
yeah.
and
I mean,
weird.
Patty Stanger would say that.
Who's that?
Oh, she was the millionaire matchmaker of Bravo. She said the penis does the picking.
She said that on television.
Yeah.
And they aired it. The penis does the picking. Who was she matching up? I never watched that show.
She would have millionaire men, and then she would have women that were looking, and she would set them up, and it was fun to watch. It was very silly. And she had 2 assistants that were married, and they were goth.
Who? Oh, they were goth.
Her assistants were goth.
Sorry, I was just thinking about penis doing the picking. I was like, what? That just means let the man make all the decisions?
Well, it would be that like men choose women based on their penis, like who they
Oh.
want to fuck, and then
the women just it's like, okay, the penis is pointed towards me.
yeah,
I respond.
spin around, like spin the bottle,
Okay, well the penis is pointed at me. I like this man now.
and then whenever the I guess the millionaires would go to her, and then she would find
Millionaires?
then she would find like the regular girlies for the millionaires, and then
I like that it just has to have millionaire in it. This could be
that
a
means
normal.
less and less these days.
I just mean it's like it couldn't be a normal matchmaking show. It's just like they are millionaires.
No, that's the fun part. And then if the whoever had dated bad people over their lifetime, she would say you have a bad picker.
Oh,
Yeah.
for the guys.
Either way, I think like your picker is off.
Did this show get canceled?
It was on for a long time.
I went on Bravo, the website, and I saw Candy's Wedding, which I've never seen before, a 6-part Candy's Wedding series that I
think
have
I
to watch.
watched that.
And then, we've talked about this, but don't be tardy for the party. 8 seasons of it. I know
Yeah.
you watched it.
Yeah.
I just can't believe that I've lived in a world where I haven't been compelled already to watch 8 seasons of Croy and Kim. Do you recommend it?
It's hard for me to recommend watching it like retrospectively. Like I watched it while it was on. It was like each episode's like 30 minutes.
I mean, I feel like it's almost more impactful to
Well,
see
maybe
retrospectively
now.
to see that, where were the cracks in the foundation.
I mean, it's pretty wild. They have a chef that's always there who's fun. They have like Kim's sidekick is in the mix. A lot of shenanigans with the kids. She's always gambling. She's drinking $500 wine out of Solo cups.
Wow.
Like there's so many quirks.
Do they do a good job with the peripheral characters, like how Bethenny Ever After did?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
She calls the chef, I think her name is Tracy Bloom, and they call her Bloom. And she's always in the mix. They joke around with her probably to like an inappropriate level. At one point, they like redo her house for her. It's almost like Kardashians-esque, like old Kardashians, where it's like very shenanigans based. But didn't Nene also have a wedding special when she remarried Greg?
I'm sure she would have. I didn't see that in the Bravo content thing, but I need to watch that too.
I remember she made all of her bridesmaids get Botox.
She did?
Yeah.
Who, Nene did?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then I don't remember the context of it, but she was talking about like, it was on my, I think I have like an Instagram clip or something in like the bowels of my Instagram that I recorded of like, she makes a joke about, again, I don't remember the context, but she goes, I don't want a Pokemon wedding.
Wow.
I don't remember
What
why.
was the context?
But
people were playing Pokemon Go at it?
maybe.
Because it was right when Pokemon Go
Maybe
came
it was
out?
like, I think it was like the wedding planner asked her what she wanted her theme to be. And she was like, what are you talking about?
Not
Like,
Pokemon?
I don't want a Pokemon wedding.
And then the wedding planner comes out and bridesmaids and groomsmen are dressed up like Pokemon. She goes, get out of here. She doesn't want to.
It's not what
She doesn't want a
He did
Pokemon
back
wedding.
away.
That'd be kind of cool.
A Pokemon wedding?
I just found out that Sean Parker from Napster had a beautiful,
Game of
beautiful
Thrones wedding?
Lord of the Rings.
Oh.
Even better. Everyone was dressed up like
Was
hobbits.
that in Big Sur?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a beautiful. Everything was Lord of the Rings themed.
Didn't they like ruin the like area? or
Yeah, for some
something?
reason they chopped down a bunch of trees and desecrated some of the ground.
Disgusting.
You don't like Sean Parker?
Is he the one that
I know nothing about him.
said to drop the from Facebook?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Good advice.
Justin Timberlake, great casting because he's a douchebag.
He is good in that.
He is good, but good at being like a douchebag.
Oh, right. So you didn't think he's good in it.
He did the job.
Could you imagine if he hadn't said drop the and it was called the Facebook and we were always saying that?
We would have adapted.
You think we would have collectively dropped the?
I think so.
Do you like the film Social Network?
I love it.
Me too. It's good.
It's like one of my favorites.
Really?
Of Fincher.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Okay.
So what the hell happened at Crystal and Rob's Gracias Madre brunch?
They tried to give her something to sink her teeth into, and I didn't really give a shit.
Will you permit me to be mean for a second?
Please.
Okay. Again, the caveat. Crystal's a great person. I assume. You have to assume she's great. I feel like Crystal, there is a dearth of entertainment value being derived from Crystal. I'll just say it. I'm sorry.
Everyone
Please.
agrees.
Please stop. I know there's Crystal
Can you
fans,
imagine there's a single stan?
There are.
No,
There were.
there's not.
I know people. The
There's
first
no
season
way.
Crystal came out, she's coming in like a wrecking ball. People
No.
give credit for Crystal for the leather pants thing when Sutton
But
said
she's not the one that
I
said
know,
it.
I know. Also, I hated when she said that Sutton what'd she say? Sutton abused. She almost used the word abused for when she peeked in on
Violated.
her. Violated her. Anyway, I've never enjoyed Crystal's presence on the show. I feel like Crystal, she didn't have anything to do last episode. This episode, I feel like she's pulling her dynamic, potentially. I don't know if Jeff's dynamic or not, but
Pop star brother.
she's taking the personality and dynamic of someone close to her to make her scenes better, which I guess props to you, because I guess anyone would use all the tools they have to sustain entertainment, but still, it seems like a last ditch effort to like bring some value to your run of the
Right.
show. I mean, this is her third season.
I know. Have you been to Gracias Madre?
I feel like I have. I was like going to look it up right after. I feel it's in Sherman Oaks, right?
West Hollywood. It's
West
right by
Oh.
Sur.
Oh, my bad. Okay.
It's like
then.
around the corner from Sur, but they have a good margarita. Just so you know.
They do?
Yeah.
I like when Crystal was like, we have a lot of history here, family history. And Rob goes like, Gracias
If you know,
Madre?
I know she was like, do you know where we are? And he was like, Gracias Madre?
Yeah, I guess it does. So whatever she was trying to say about Jeff, about how he blames her, she was like really just like lacing
I didn't
in
even
why-
quite understand the story.
So when COVID broke out, he was living in China and
Yeah.
he had a fiance and they were planning to get married. And Crystal and Crystal's mom begged Jeff to get out of China and come be with them during COVID. But she couldn't leave because she, I don't know,
had
has
a Chinese passport.
So she couldn't leave with
Yeah.
him. But he, I
guess he did.
obeyed his own free will and did what he wanted to do and left her. And so they say, Crystal says now that she thinks Jeff blames her for their relationship ending because he left her to go be with
Right.
them. Which it's like, I don't know, that was his decision. I mean,
right.
wow, you can't force him to come.
Right.
So I just didn't.
I mean, it sounded like also he just wanted to get the fuck out of China during that time because it was so
and he was fine. to
gnarly
leave.
being there during COVID.
He was fine to leave his.
and he was like, I want to go to Beverly Hills, baby.
Yeah. I mean, maybe
Sounded like he should have gone to Charleston.
What?
It's chill as fuck down there.
You think you should
He
have gone
could
there?
have gone to the speakeasy. It was pretty gnarly in LA too. We weren't allowed to do anything.
I wanted to look him up because Crystal said Justin Bieber of China, which is like the easy, like obvious. Okay, so he's the biggest performer, or was at one time. I wanted to look into that because I was like, is she? I'm just relying on her word for that.
Right.
He's like the most
I
famous
have no
person.
context whatsoever.
So I need to look. Like
The
was
pictures
he?
didn't prove much.
Right. Like was that just your shorthand, but you're way overstating his influence in China?
I did like they were talking about, he was saying he wants to get married or whatever, meet someone new. And they were saying, like, would you be cool if he brought home a girl 20 years younger than him, the way that, like, Rob, when he was like, when I met Rob, his shirt was buttoned all the way down and he was wearing sunglasses indoors. And they showed a photo of him, not quite to that degree, but I was like, wow, that was
his Lion King era. He was like living
top
high
of
on
the world.
High on the horse.
He was like, I just can't wait to be king. I loved Lion King when I was in kindergarten.
You did?
I did.
Yeah, I'll just say it. I also liked Lion King when I was young.
My like first grade backpack was a Lion King backpack.
That's awesome. Of those early classic era, I know we're a little different in age, and I don't want to say how old different we are. Of those early 4 or 5, or the classics, maybe 6 or 7 early Disney classics, what's your favorite of those?
Like today or
no, like
then?
from the run of like
right, but
Beauty
like
and the Beast.
how I feel now or how I felt then.
Because
like I don't really give a shit now, but I was big into Little Mermaid, big into Pocahontas.
Mermaid and Pocahontas were the two. Yeah,
those are like so. Because I was big into like Cinderella and all of those, but I feel like starting in like the 90s was when they started to hit with the Alan Menken scores, like it's like The Little Mermaid. I wasn't as much into, I feel like kids like a little bit younger than me were hella into like Tarzan and Hercules, and to me those feel like off-brand. Are they your favorite?
I don't like Tarzan. I never watched it, but I was going to say, I think Hercules ripped the hardest for me. I was like, I love this.
It is fun.
It's Greek gods. I liked Hades. I love Greek mythology. I love mythology.
Yeah.
Mythology. So that one, and I can't think of any, I was like thinking in my mind, like Bambi and Snow White and even Beauty and the Beast. I didn't like Little Mermaid. So I was thinking, what hit the hardest? I think Hercules had the energy.
Probably for boys,
yeah.
It was a little more skewed. I feel like something like Little Mermaid was quite for girls a little bit.
Yeah. Is that why I didn't like it? I think
Lion King was more male.
Yeah, I liked Lion King too, but then for some reason when I think back, like I had the Hercules dinner plate that you always see, where it's Hercules and he's going like, eat your meat and vegetables to be strong like me.
All those plastic plates and cups. I had a Lion King spoon that when you dipped it in your cereal, the like coldness of the milk would make it turn colors.
That is so cool.
I had I saw it online that it was like everybody had these cups and plates. And I was like, I did. Yeah. It was a Little Mermaid cup where it was thick and there's water in between like the cup and the outside plastic. So it had like glitter and like stuff like floating in it.
That's awesome.
And I was like, and then eventually, you have it long enough, the water like dries up and you're like, it's sad.
Yeah.
I'm getting old.
Oh man, that is so sad. That's when you turn an adult, when the glitter just starts to stay glued in that cup.
But so yeah, Rob Minkoff is rich as hell.
So rich, right? What does he do now? Is he still like the development, not development, but is he called for Disney?
Yeah. Did he have anything to do with that? What's his name? Lion King?
Jon Favreau?
Jon Favreau, Lion King?
I don't know. Maybe just got an early screening and thought it was pure shit.
Never saw it. I haven't seen a single one of the Disney remakes. I refuse.
I saw the Beauty and the Beast one in theaters.
Yikes.
Yeah, horrendous. It's awful.
I'm like, what are we doing with our resources?
Yeah, I really don't know. So Rob, let us know what you do in the Disney world now. But then we get to my favorite part of the episode by far. I loved every second of this, especially because I just watched Pretty Woman for the first time. I don't know how this would have landed if I hadn't seen it, but it's so near to me now. Like, I remember everything. So I was just so excited by this.
When they said the Beverly Wilshire, were you like, hell yeah?
No, because I didn't remember. I forgot that was what it was called. But I knew once they said it that it was a pretty woman. I remember. I mean, the whole movie basically takes place in, he's staying there the entire time.
Right. Yes.
So Kyle lets us know she's picking up Dorit, and we think they're just going to have another boring lunch.
Yeah. Talk about, she's probably so glad that she got to change the subject because Dorit was like, what's going on with you and Mo? And she was like, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. And Dorit goes, I sense a heaviness in you. Like, did you feel like, Dorit starts to like question. She also says, Kyle says, I needed some freedom and space. Dorit presses her further. She goes, did you need freedom and space from your husband?
Yeah.
And then Kyle said, from all things. And then or she was like, what makes you say that? And Dorit goes, well, they hadn't hung out as a couple, which she says in a long time. She says in her confessional. Then she also says, like, on Instagram, I noticed that, he is not with you, which, I don't know. I mean, props to Dorit for recognizing that in social media. Do you think at all that this was teed up, like Dorit had permission to start to bring it up? Or do you think this was an organic, I sense something in you, do you want to talk about it? If so, this is your scene for us to talk about it now.
Right. I mean, they talk later in the episode that the press had already been happening about a potential split or whatever. So obviously the real reason was that it was in the news,
right.
So I don't know. I feel like Dorit, it seemed like a little out of turn.
Yeah, I felt like Kyle genuinely seemed a little uncomfortable and didn't have a response in mind that she wanted to say.
And then she was like, if you ever just don't want to talk about something, just tell me you don't want to talk about it. And she's like,
Yeah. No, I mean, I like that too for Dorit. Like, I sensed Dorit and Kyle's friendship more in this episode. And I feel like, I don't know, I was just not enjoying Dorit's presence. And now that I'm trying to, focus on all the dynamics more because we're like recapping it. Like, I sensed the genuine friendship between Dorit and Kyle.
Yeah.
And I could see it actually coming from a real place. And I thought it was interesting that she noticed a change in Kyle's social media, which is a real way people learn big news about people when they start to shift their social media presence.
Totally. Should we just quickly touch on the Sutton Garcelle scene? Because then it's going to be all Pretty Woman.
Yes, sure. If you would like to.
I mean, it's not much interesting except that I liked when like Garcelle's crying about her son calling her out for being a bad mom, basically, and Sutton's like, and you know what? Like, teenage boys are just kind of assholes.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's true.
I feel like that's where
what we said last week.
That's where we both fell on that conversation. I don't think Garcelle should be taking this too much to heart. If anything, she should just take to heart that her son slandered her the minute that he got on camera within 1 second, saying that that he feels abandoned by her because she left for 3 weeks because she had a job.
Right.
So I'm glad Sutton just said the alternate take on that.
Totally. I mean, she's like been there. She has older kids, so yeah.
I hope Garcelle. I hope that this isn't all Garcelle has to work with this season. Just this one offhanded, cruel remark that her 15-year-old made when he was trying to look really cool on camera.
Right.
Like, I hope that's just not what she's going to concern herself with, because it's really not indicative of her parenting skills, I don't think.
No. Yeah, it's kind of a bummer. Okay, so back in Pretty Woman land, Kyle, it basically kidnaps Dorit. They go into a hotel room at the Beverly Wilshire.
And Dorit already has her guard up because she's like, why are we getting room keys from the...
Yeah, she's like, what? Like, I thought we were going to lunch. Like, what's going on? Like, And
Kyle's not doing a very good job. She doesn't have an excuse for why she's doing any of this. So she's just like, just wait. You'll find out. Just wait. Don't ask questions. Like,
right.
She has no excuse for any of this.
Yeah. And then Dorit's stylist and glam team appear. And she's
well, before in the room, when she gets to the room, she reads the card and it says, so finally she has no idea what's going on. Then finally when she reads the card, it says, honey, sit down and wait for me. I will be here for a special surprise. So she finally knows that something is happening.
Oh, right. But she's like panicking. She goes out on the balcony. She's like, they basically like show the cameramen and the producers because she's like, what is going on? I need to know what's going on. Like, where are my kids?
Yes.
I thought I was going home after this. Like, basically like blaming production for like fucking over her day or something.
Yeah. She immediately breaks the fourth wall. She's like, I'm nervous. I don't know what I left. If this isn't gonna be a lunch scene, then what is this scene? Because I have to like have an excuse or my kids have to be taken care of.
Yeah. So then she like calls PK and it's her like Jagger, her son, answers and he's like, Mama, we're involved. Don't be worried.
We love you. Happy anniversary.
And she's like literally about to cry with relief.
But
and I'm like, did you think they were like locked up and like
yeah. I mean, that's a little bit
hogtied?
Yes. That's the PTSD coming out a little bit and losing control. But Dorit, when she gets in the room, she's already sort of making fun of the setup before she even knows it's a surprise. She's like, why didn't we get the presidential suite, darling, or whatever she calls Kyle. And then when she finds out it's from PK, then Kyle has to do more heavy lifting. The burden is really on Kyle to make this surprise make sense because Dorit is completely isolated with how she's supposed to feel. There's no PK to let her in on this. So Kyle goes, does this remind you of any movie you've seen? Maybe sort of a movie that takes place in a hotel or that you've seen
that was filmed here.
Dorit goes,
she's like, no.
And then she goes, oh, PK. Then she finally knows and she goes, what the hell? Like she thinks it's like the worst version of that at first. She was like, he ordered everything for her. I just have like fruit. Yeah. Then the glam team comes in and she's very
she's like, that's better. Like, that's a little better.
So she's starting to like warm up a little bit, but it's still, it's just strategy wise, it was weird of PK to make 2 hours of her have to like go through the surprise without him before he saw her, you know?
Right. Yeah. And of course, she's immediately giving the glam team or the stylist team hell. Yeah. She's like, I'm an actual designer and stylist. So she's like, if I wear this, I'm going to need my bronzer, like blah, blah, blah. Like,
who
she's just
brought
like,
the Beverly Beach bronzer? Because I'm absolutely going to need that.
Yeah. And Kyle's like laughing about how difficult this all is. She's like the least low maintenance person of all time. Like most people would just be like, for most people, it would be a treat to be like queen for a day. Yeah. And she's like, I do this shit every fucking day of my life. And like, I have very specific opinions about what I like to look like, what I want to wear. Like I would want to choose these looks myself.
So choosing from a bunch of like substandard outfits, like 10 of them that you really don't want to wear any of them. That's not a fun thing for Dorit, who really takes one of her life's pleasures for her is picking out what she wants to wear.
It would be like if someone if Jimmy, I came home and he was like, I set up a podcast studio for you. Like, how about we do a podcast? And I'd be like, but I do that already.
Right, exactly, right. I was going to say, wait, where are you going with this? Like, I want a studio.
I hate doing a podcast.
I want a studio.
Don't you know I already hate doing this? But yeah, I always think about that. It's like, when you see celebrities getting married or whatever, it's like they wear gowns all the time. So it's a little less special to like, for most women, it's like their day.
I wonder if like Postmates of like McDonald's and then watching Pretty Woman in your pajamas with your kids would have been the other end of like, we do nothing. Phones off, family time, we watch a movie, pajamas, you get the food that you want that we never get to eat. Like whatever you used to eat when you were 20 before you were rich or whatever. You know, that maybe he could have gone
more intimate.
But then she does, props to Dorit, first of all, she's giving the energy of this is the biggest flop I've ever seen. PK like ruined our anniversary. This is awful. To then she gets into it, which I was happy. I was like, this could have been a nightmare the entire time. She could have like been like, PK, this sucks. The suite. Also, the suites do look like shit now from Pretty Woman. It used to have a nice older decor. Like I remember what it looked like. It looked classy and cool and but definitely old-fashioned, I guess, but now it looks modern and ugly, black and gray. And did you see like the room? It looked very like modern and shitty. And
it looked like any old hotel.
So it didn't capture the Pretty Woman ethos at all.
Right. But then PK pulls up in a Ferrari in a tuxedo.
I didn't see he pulled up in a Ferrari.
Yeah. And they do a flashback montage of all of the extravagant surprises from over the years.
And I didn't remember that was their love language. Right. And they had a lot of examples of it.
I know. I forgot about the like Buddha, rose gold Bentley. Yeah.
The Buddha bar.
Dorit's Buddha Lounge.
Buddha Lounge. I go, wait, the helicopter on the boat? I was like, okay, wait.
Was the Buddha Lounge the cocaine accusation night?
I thought that was just at dinner at their house. But maybe it was.
Might have been.
I gotta watch that scene again.
Totally. Like landing on a yacht, the Boy George stuff.
Right.
She does like I mean, she ended up going with a dress that was basically full on cosplay.
Yeah. So she walks down the stairs. Are we there?
Yeah.
We're there now. She walks down the stairs, and now this is the part where the surprise all starts to land. It took a lot of work to get there, but when she goes down the stairs, she meets PK at the bar. PK looks great. He's like almost blushing because she looks great, you know, or he thinks she looks amazing, just like Julia Roberts. She's smiling. She's happy. Then he presents the on loan. I mean, who knows if that's $5 million or whatever.
Right.
But that's a necklace from the movie. I don't remember that part.
Very similar. And he was like, "Don't get excited. It's just on loan."
Right.
And they do the whole like closing of the box laugh thing.
Right.
And then he takes her up to a nicer room, like a different room, for Berlin to perform "Take My Breath Away," which the editors put. That is from Top Gun, not Pretty Woman.
Yeah. Now, I was already loving every aspect of this. And then they get up to the room and actually Berlin, who I didn't know that they sang that song.
Yeah.
But he has all these music connections.
Right.
So we've got a one-on-one performance
And then
with them.
when they're dancing, he goes, "You know that's actually Berlin, right?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm like, she probably did think it was just like random entertainers.
Right. And it did sound beautiful.
Yeah.
It sounded beautiful. That song was touching. Dorit is crying.
Yeah.
It's funny that it was from Top Gun, which those little, it's not even like shade. It's just like a funny factoid that you learn. Like I wouldn't have remembered that's from Top Gun and not Pretty Woman.
Yeah.
Just fun.
I guess they like that song. I don't know.
Take my breath away. I wanted to say one thing. In PK in his confessionals, when they're talking about this, he does say, he says, what an iconic idea. I didn't know if he was covering his bases by saying, what an iconic idea, taking really popular songs from other movies and putting them in other popular movies. I wasn't sure if he was saying like, what a great idea I had because I got the song wrong from Pretty Woman.
Yeah. I mean, outside of the Roy Orbison song, is there a big needle drop in Pretty Woman?
He could have got Roy Orbison's Orby's the son to do that song.
That would have been fun.
Maybe the rights.
They could have gotten I want. Oh my god, my brain is like going through so many different facets right now. Bradley Cooper to sing it as his Star is Born character.
Anything. So Berlin was great, and I love Take My Breath Away. But there are some other things, we could admit that he could have done in the Pretty Woman vein. But
Can
maybe
I
they
explain what was going on in my brain? Bradley Cooper in Star is Born plays Jackson Maine.
Right.
But on the show, The Morning Show, Reese Witherspoon plays a character called Bradley Jackson. So I was like, Bradley Jackson, Bradley Cooper, Jackson, Maine.
I see. Okay, so that's okay. All right, so that's the steps you made to get there.
My rotten mind.
Is
it's like
it?
funhouse mirrors in there of useless information.
Do you watch The Morning Show?
I do.
I saw something, which I don't watch it, but I saw something where it said, will anyone ever go behind the scenes and explain why on The Morning Show the two top cast members never have any scenes together on anything? Is it Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon?
Yeah.
So they hate each other?
I think.
Wow.
I mean, their characters really don't interact much.
And they're in the same
like
set. They have
separate
the same
plots.
workplace.
Yeah, they like any scenes they have together are very fleeting.
Could you imagine being paid millions and having a personal grudge against someone? I mean, that's what I think about on Game of Thrones. Lena Headey, you never saw it, but two characters made them that they couldn't be in the same scenes together. So they would go out of their way to be like,
who's the other one?
His name is he's this strong guy. His name is like Braun or something.
Okay.
I forget all the characters' names, but he used to date Lena Headey back in the day, and they had a toxic relationship. They hated each other. So Game of Thrones writers would have to say things like, I'm going to go now and not be a part of this event, and I'm going to go get a beer, and because he would have for sure been in the scene with her.
They're like, bring up my chariot.
Yes.
I will be going now.
They ride a lot of chariots in Game of Thrones, but I just think I could not imagine making that much money and being the star and have everything in the world catered to you your entire life, and then not be able to just grin and bear it in a scene with someone you just personally don't like.
Right.
I mean, that's the Sarah Jessica Parker and Kim Cattrall thing.
Right.
It's like, God damn, you guys can't just get it together for millions.
Right.
Hey, I hate you. Can we just act like, in a scene?
Totally. It's a insane show. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, I mean, I'm never gonna watch it. I have such a low threshold for what people say is prestige
it's
TV.
Absolute, basically garbage, but it looks very expensive, but it's essentially a soap opera.
Yeah.
And can I just tell you one plot point that happened in the past couple episodes?
Of course you can.
Skip 30 seconds if you don't want
Morning
season
show
3.
spoilers, which we always do this every week.
Bradley Jackson is like, she's basically originally on the series plucked from obscurity. So she is like a down home, like gritty reporter who is on the morning show. And
Caitlin Collins.
Yeah.
Do you know her?
I think so.
She's from CNN.
Okay, yeah.
I was just wondering who. I was trying to think of who the who that story is like pulled from in the real journalism.
Right. So, you know, her thing is that she wants to like report on things that matter and that kind of thing. So anyways, they do a flashback episode this season to COVID era.
Was she like,
and she goes to report on the ground at the insurrection.
really?
Yeah. And so they like filmed the insurrection, like they like shot a version of it. And
They did?
yeah. And previously you've met her brother who still lives in the South or whatever and is like kind of like an alcoholic and
He was
like
there.
a problem. She is filming footage. She's getting iPhone footage
was there.
and her mask falls and she
No!
has captured footage of her
No! Oh my god, we're pushing past 30 seconds. Oh, if you're still, please skip forward. Morning show spoilers.
Can you believe?
Oh my god! Once
Like,
you
that's
said,
the kind of
once
shit you can
said,
expect.
Down home brother, whatever you said, some brother that's still at home. I was like, that brother's gonna be at the insurrection.
So she has to delete. She, out of loyalty, deletes the files, but obviously that's bad journalism.
That's what I think happened with the Page Six reporter and Ramona. Just to bring it back to Vanity Fair, I think that Page Six reporter probably had a relationship with Ramona and was like, "Oh, you can always text me or whatever. Please give me the scoop or whatever." But then the one time Ramona says something where it's like, "This is part of the story," she did their journalistic responsibility instead
Yeah.
of burning it. The opposite
She's
of
like, publish.
Brandy
She hit
Jackson,
publish.
Bradley Jackson. Damn, that is a wild plot point. I almost want to watch a morning show just for that.
Exactly. It's just like outrageous. Like they're like, yeah, we did that.
Newsroom used to do that too, which I didn't watch
Yeah.
Newsroom, but
It's
they
very
tried to have
similar.
Right, like they wanted to just do a more like poppier version of that.
Yeah.
Okay, one thing I just want to say about Berlin is really quickly is that there is so much garbage music in the Bravo universe. They spend like $1,000 per episode on their music budget. Like,
Yeah.
it's just pure
If
garbage.
that.
Camptown Races, yeah, and it's no money is spent on this budget. No song you've ever heard of. So when you hear Take My Breath Away,
Right.
and in the context of Bravo, it is stunning
Right.
to hear an actually good song
Yeah.
because they never listen to good music anytime.
Right.
So I love that they paid the rights or whatever PK had
Yeah,
to do
maybe
to get that.
made a deal where they waived their rights for the airtime.
Possibly.
Okay, so yeah, I think
Then it does. So then it does start to the goodwill starts to curdle a little bit. PK says when they're sitting down at dinner, he goes, "You know what? I don't know how many more surprises I'm going, to
right.
do for you
It's
because
not
the
fun.
reaction was a little muted, and there was some work to get to reach
Right.
the place where she appreciated it."
they had to talk her off the ledge.
And she says what we already talked about, which is just that certain aspects of this were not fun for me,
Right.
Because I like to get ready on my own. I like to look a certain way. I feel like Lisa Barlow said that too. She had it. That was too much for her to like get out of
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
her comfort zone with her appearance.
Right. And he was like, okay, but like the one time that I do something for you, like maybe relinquish control and like let me take over.
Yeah.
And she was like, I just have very specific, he's like, that's called control.
Yeah.
Like, but I guess it's also a matter of, it's like you do need to surrender control sometimes to let your partner like have some whatever. But at the same time, it's like if you know that your partner doesn't like that kind of love language, then it's like it's going to be a flop.
But I do think they talked about that in a healthy way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, their love does shine through. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I was a hater. Dorit and PK, like, get them off my television screen. But I do think they have a relationship to where I believe them that they're not, like, in the throes of almost divorcing.
Did you see they did like a paparazzi dinner this week to prove
Yeah,
that they
it was
were
like
still
the
strong?
Heather. It was like the Heather and Terry Disneyland, where
Yeah.
Heather's pointing off into the distance.
Yeah. All right. Well, now we're going to Portia's birthday at Kyle and Mauricio's house. Mauricio's mom is there, who we've met before, who has been supporting him at Dancing with the Stars.
Mauricio's mom sort of went rogue,
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah. she bombards Kyle with questions about what's going on with all these rumors of you not wearing your ring and all this.
And again, Kyle is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Kyle's good usually at, I don't know, like having a pat answer down that explains things or being fun in the moment or whatever. She seemed genuinely a little thrown off balance. And she says in her confessional, she didn't expect her mother-in-law to bring that up.
Right. No, you can tell this scene. I'm like, there's like no denying that they're having issues. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel fake. It feels
And even and Mauricio's mom says, like, I don't usually believe this stuff, but there's just so much going around right now. It's like, you got to nip this in the bud.
right. They give Portia a Cartier love band, which I'm like, that's obviously a very extravagant gift for any. How old is she? 14?
I was going to ask you, I thought maybe turning 15.
Because when was her bat mitzvah? It was like a year or two ago.
Okay, and that's when
But didn't they make a joke about it being a quinceañera? So maybe.
Oh, turning 15?
But I was like, it's funny because like the mind warp of the way these people live. I was like, for most people that'd be a very extravagant gift, but for them, I'm like, a $1,300 ring is actually like within like a tasteful realm for them, you know? Like,
they gave her a bunch of gifts on the side,
I'm sure.
like right after filming. It's like, here's your real gift.
Yeah, but she was like about to cry. She loved it, so I was like,
sweet.
I'm glad she still appreciates shit like that.
And then Kyle, I don't know how you felt about this, and I really
I thought it
do.
was kind of confusing.
I do want to ask. So Kyle sort of, once she nips the rumors in the bud that her and Mauricio are fine, she starts to develop some tattoo talk at the table. Like, who's the one who had a fake tattoo who's just trying out the
Farrah.
That's a good strategy. If I was going to get a tattoo, I actually should like probably make one just to see how I like it
for a week.
And then that brings some tattoo talk to mind. Kyle says, I have a bunch of tattoos, not like mine. Mine are permanent or whatever. And then she goes, Mauricio, does your mom know that you and I both have tattoos?
Yeah.
And Mauricio goes, no. Like he's frazzled by it.
Right.
So then she catches Mauricio's mom. What's Mauricio's mom's name? Estella?
Yeah.
Is it Estella?
I think so.
I didn't want to get it wrong.
Yeah.
Estella. She captures Estella in the same room where Estella just asked her a question and says, hey, by the way, I have something horrible to tell you. And the mom goes, just out with it. Tell me now. I have a bunch of tattoos.
Yeah.
And the mom goes, I'm okay.
Yeah.
And then she goes, the girls do too, right?
Yeah.
And
She's like, I already knew that.
And then Kyle, I don't know why Kyle does it. This is what I wanted to ask your opinion on.
Yeah.
Kyle really, knowing it's a sensitive topic for Mauricio, throws Mauricio under the bus that he has tattoos.
Right.
Then tries to color a little shade of doubt at the end after she definitively said he has tattoos.
That's why I was confused because I missed the part earlier where I guess they said it to each other. So I was like, wait, does he or doesn't
I
he?
had to watch it twice,
Okay.
and he does. She whispers, and it's in the the subtitles because it was so low that you could barely hear it. She says, "Does your mom know that I have tattoos and you do too?"
Okay.
So Mauricio does.
Okay.
The question is, what the hell does Mauricio have a tattoo of?
Right. I bet it's like a 90s like starburst.
I was thinking a huge sun on his back.
Okay, so
is
we're
that
on the
what you
same
said?
page.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like
How
one of those
big?
ones that's like that very 90s, like what like Nick Lachey has on his bicep.
Yeah.
Can you picture it?
Yes. I guess I'm thinking of the exact same thing. You said sunburst.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think it's huge or small?
I mean, it can't be that big if we haven't seen it. I feel like he walks around with a shirt off now.
Is he going to be
Maybe
at
it's on
BravoCon?
his butt.
I think it's on his butt. Are we going to be at Is he going to be at BravoCon?
I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, I was confused by that whole scene. And then,
but once you know that she knows he has a tattoo and then tells his mom he does.
yeah, that sounds like she was trying to get a dig in.
Yeah. And then when Mauricio hears this, so Kyle is not only causing a problem, whatever you can call it, it's a problem.
Yeah.
She's causing a little bit of conflict at the dinner, and then tells Mauricio this thing that she knows he's going to be sensitive about right to him.
Right.
He goes, why would you say that? He goes,
Right.
that's my...
Well, especially because they're Jewish, which
Yeah.
I think there's like touchy stuff about getting tattoos.
I think that's the undercurrent of a lot of the tension here,
Right.
too, is that this is a huge topic that Mauricio wanted to probably tell his mom firsthand if he
Right.
was ever going to tell her.
Right.
So it is... I willfully ignorant of Kyle to do this, or perhaps things are so horrible at home and Mauricio is not giving her attention.
Right.
that-
Like maybe she was like, if I'm going to get like thrown under the bus as being like the bad one with a tattoo, I'm going to tell her you have one too.
But she really didn't have to say it because she brought up to Estella.
I mean, she didn't have to say it at all.
No. So it was a fully self-perpetuated.
She didn't even have to talk about her own tattoos because she didn't give a shit.
But the reason why I don't think it's just inorganic garbage is that I do think that Mauricio and Kyle did seem very distant, and Kyle did seem a little frazzled. And like, there's even little moments like, we're really stressed. Did you put the mail away? I forget if that's what they were talking about. Like, did you put the mail away? Because it looks like shit out there.
She was like, not a good time to ask me, bro.
Yeah, so there was enough already, like, tension that I felt like Kyle might have just been working through some of the weird dynamics in their relationship. And I didn't know if it was like a rebellion against Mauricio or opposed to she's bringing this up to start shit on camera, which I'm trying to believe that it wasn't that.
Right. No, it was all very like fleeting. Like it was kind of just like
minor.
chaotic. Yeah.
Yeah. And Mauricio, I mean, you don't see Mauricio pissed a lot unless, you can remind me, but he legitimately shut that conversation down. Like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
The main time I can remember him being mad was in Hawaii for his birthday when Kim and her like nasty boyfriend were locked up in their room all day. And Mauricio was like, let's cheers to truth.
Yeah. He wasn't even that pissed though.
He was.
He was?
You could tell.
Who was that wonderful guy that Kim was dating?
I don't remember his name. Was
Paul?
it John?
John?
It might have been John.
They were a duo.
That was a dark time. Dark time.
Okay. Anything else about...
No, we'll keep an eye on them.
So do you just fall on Kyle with sort of... Was she being purposefully starting a little... shit with Mauricio because things have been so bad at the house you wanted to give him a little bit, or is it just she's frazzled and stressed and she
I think it was a little bit of a dig.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we go to Vegas. I guess Kyle rented the PJ. Maybe they have like a timeshare on a PJ and she was like, I'll use one of my certificates.
I mean, Mauricio, I feel like, is entering private jet territory.
Totally.
With how well
used
the
to be
agency
Erica,
is
but
doing.
luckily we have a new girl to take over.
Yes.
So yeah, they say like thanks to Kyle, they give Crystal that gift, which was also, what did they say? It was like a $3,000 necklace.
I think so.
So I was like, what's the math on that? If everybody pitched in, would it be like $500 or something?
I thought that too. I
Yeah.
tried to do the math. I was like,
It was
okay,
like-
if Crystal's not buying it, it's like a little over 300, I think. Because is there 6 cast members total? I don't.
Yeah.
Well, we can't do math.
So it's like within. I'm like, it wasn't like, again, it was like within reason.
And I thought it's sweet. I was just like, thank you guys for honoring Crystal. It's sweet. Like, as the audience, I don't know who's behind Crystal, but I think it's sweet that she's a cast member. You're treating her really well.
It's funny that this trip is for her birthday, but it's seemingly going to be so little about her.
Right. It's like barely about her.
They are going to go to Magic Mike. It's funny that when they get to the hotel room, Sutton is like, I brought my ones. And I'm like, bitch, you don't use real money at Magic Mike. They give you fake money.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They give you like Monopoly dollars that have like Channing Tatum on them.
Is it because they can't like tax the money properly?
I don't know. But so I was like, if she did bring the money and was throwing it around, I think they would tell her to stop because I don't think they have a system for collecting money.
And that's why she gets so pissed?
Maybe.
She's like, I threw real ones up there.
Because like it's just like these, I have a bunch of them because I've gone a few times, but they give you like pink money just to like fuck around with and like
I like that.
make it rain or whatever. But I was like, yeah, I don't know what would happen if you just started throwing around real money.
Because it's such a stage show. It's like, this isn't real stripper.
No, I mean, I'm like, maybe if you were getting a lap dance, you could like slide the guy money, but I bet it's this kind of thing where they're not allowed to accept it or something.
Yeah. Did you like Magic Mike Last Dance?
Is that the last one?
Yeah, the London one.
Was XXL2?
XXL was the one where they go on a road trip
Okay.
through a bunch of like college towns to get to the finals for the stripper convention.
Right.
That one was awesome.
Yeah. I thought I need to rewatch The Last Dance because it was back to just being like a Soderbergh movie.
It's a commentary on how Magic Mike's progression has been from movie to stage show.
Right.
So they wanted to incorporate some of the elements of the Magic Mike stage show into a movie version of it.
Like I thought it was interesting and like well done, but it wasn't like, I think mostly when we watch those movies now, we want just like fun.
Yeah. So it was a little... It
was
the fun-
subdued.
Yeah. XXL is like almost pure fun.
Totally. Totally. Okay.
Oh, Resorts World looked cool when they got there.
Right. I've stayed there.
Not in that room.
Not in that room. But that room is where Paris Hilton had her bachelorette party.
So that is like the Hilton exclusive
so.
room if you're Hilton affiliated.
Yeah. You basically have your own little universe in there.
It was beautiful.
15,000 square feet.
That was the kind of stuff where I was just astounded by. I was like, whoa, I am resensitized to the level of wealth. I'm not desensitized anymore. That
Right.
was a beautiful room.
Right. Dorit didn't bring glam, but Crystal did. But anyways, let's get through this episode. It basically ends with on a cliffhanger of like Erica with her legs spread getting a lap dance, because they do say on the plane, which is true, if you want to get called up on stage, you need to be wearing pants. They will not, probably for liability reasons,
Yeah,
allow
I was
you to
wondering
wear.
about that.
I think it's so you don't like expose yourself and then like say you were forced or something. Like, I don't know.
So pants are really the like, okay.
That's literally like we talk about it in our threads when we go to Vegas. Like, if you want to get a lap dance, you got to wear pants.
That makes sense, I guess. You need to keep some shield between
Right.
yourself and...
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Although none of my friends have ever been called on stage, but they have gotten lap dances like in their seat.
And then when the fight erupts next episode, they're like, was it because you had to wear pants?
Right.
And Sutton's like, it's not about my pants.
Right. So it appears that Erica gets a gnarly lap dance where her legs are completely spread. It becomes, raunchy, which is the whole point of the show. And Sutton is like basically like, oh, hell no. It's like when Ramona gets up and leaves the reunion because of
You think that's
Alex
what it is?
McCord's nudes. I think so.
So you think it's like a chlamydia Southern Charm thing where
Yeah.
it's like this show... Really?
Yeah.
I hope not.
I do.
Whoa. That's an exclusive theory here.
I
didn't
think
even
she's
think
like,
about
I'm a
that.
Southern woman.
I feel like, Sutton, there's nothing you've seen on Beverly Hills that has been this, or is Beverly Hills like the classy one and they don't...
If
she's
that's what I think
shocked
it's
by
going to
the
be.
Magic Mike show,
Because
I'll
then
be-
the clip they show later is Erica being like, she's sitting there like Judge Judy. Like she's judging me for getting down and dirty.
she's familiar with Erica Jane's stage persona
Right,
and all
which
of
is,
her
like, even
shows,
gnarlier.
and I feel like Sutton wouldn't want to go down that road of being...
Are we going to do the Pat the Puss with Erica Jane event at BravoCon?
What does that
I
entail
don't know what it
again?
entails, but maybe she'll teach us to pat the puss.
And what does that entail?
It's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I just did a motion to pat my puss.
All right, well, let's... No, I'm just kidding. So, okay, I mean, I liked that episode of Beverly Hills. It was rollicking.
it was good.
It was fun. There was a lot of wild stuff. The Pretty Woman stuff was like, I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah.
It was so long that I loved every minute of it. And the Portia Portia birthday was kind of fun.
Yeah.
I liked it. So do you want to... Now we're doing
Now
the...
we really need to do a certified turtle piss break, and we're going to have to talk about 3 shows in 30 minutes.
So this is the order of events. I don't know who listens to Turtle Time anymore, for real. But if you are listening, it's 2 hours and 20 minutes in. Those were the hot shows.
Yeah.
Southern Charm, Beverly Hills. That's our hottest takes. They're the newest, the freshest. Salt Lake City, we love it, but I think we got to skimp on it a little bit. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
we're going
but
to have to
there's
breeze through.
But that's fun too, the highlights. And then Winter House and RHONY, I am sorry, but Winter House doesn't deserve a lot of scrutiny. It's sort of like Crappy Lake, where it's just fun and people are partying, and then RHONY doesn't deserve any of our commentary anymore.
Totally.
It's over.
Yeah.
So that's it. We're going to go to the bathroom, and then 40 minutes of just the rest of the shit that we talk about.
Yeah.
We're back.
We're back.
We never do that 2 hour 20 and then a break. It feels so
I know we should be
strange.
winding down, which we kind of are. So yeah, let's just get through our highlights of Salt Lake.
Yes, and I think the pacing of this episode is sort of how we can structure the conversation, which is that 70% of it was kind of minor scenes with, some fun winter-related activities, but the bulk of it, really, the 3 final scenes, which are Whitney and Mary's confrontation.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the missionary reveal party just for my interest in the Mormon religion
Right.
and its hold on its congregants.
Just like 100 white kids. They're like,
Yeah.
just like look like pink colored children, like
Yes.
all in a room.
A lot of pink little babies in there. And then the final thing, which is like the Game of Thrones moment. Not to keep talking about Game of Thrones, but just the full episode is like that. I mean, you got 10 minutes of this episode was dedicated to Monica and Monica's mom.
Yeah, I'm kind of obsessed with Monica and her mom, and like we'll get into that. And then Monica's mom's rebuttal on social media, which is, I'm like, oh, we're dealing with a character here.
Yes.
Like anything that any sympathy you would have towards her, you're like, oh no, everything Monica says is true.
They obviously knew very early that they had lightning in a bottle with Monica, because they gave her an early focus and a strong focus from the minute she stepped out, into this world. And then now she is like holding court in episodes that are just fully dedicated to her and her mom's relationship as a full-time.
I mean, they've gotten
full-time cast
in a
member.
brawl in like every episode this season so far.
Yeah. So early, just to like set up what's happening here, I will say, generally, I think that Heather and Monica have the start of an actual good organic friendship. When Heather opens up about her like losing her mom, basically, like her mom like is out of her life now post Mormon religion, which is like, that is so horrible. Imagine losing a family member in your life because they don't believe in what you did after your religion or whatever, And then I thought that Monica seems, I don't know, to me it seems genuine, and they seem like they would actually be friends with each other. They're like both like outspoken. I think they're both pretty honest. And so I liked seeing like that. Also, Heather was the one that Monica opened up to originally about why she got cast out of the Mormon church. Right. So I feel like she can be very honest with Heather. Right.
And she tells her the story about when she was 12, her mom got a job in New York and just dropped her off with some family friends in Pennsylvania. And I think it ultimately ended up being like 6 months or something, where she just had to live with this other family. Yeah. She was, implying that she didn't know them very well, or like, because Heather was like, who were they?
She said friends of the family.
Sure. But I feel like, ultimately when the mom makes her defense, I'm like, yeah, that's what she said.
Yeah. The mom doesn't. Well, yeah, it's hard because the whole episode sort of like pertains to that. I mean, should we talk about Linda's response to that already, or no? Or should we wait till the end?
Well, just I guess another mark against her before she gets her rebuttal is that Monica reveals that her mom, like, her name is also on their car. And so after they got in that fight at the Greek brunch, the mom was like, give me the car, I'll call the cops, and just like stole their vehicle so that Monica and her kids don't have a car right now.
Like retribution for
she had to rent a car.
Yeah, which is awful. And then it really doesn't matter what Linda says about that time, because just on its face, when you hear that story, it's not great. And it matters how Monica felt about it. These could have been the best family friends in the world, which whatever the hell that means to a 12-year-old. Right. Those are our friends. They live in the same building as me. I don't want to live with them for 6 months while my mom works in a different state. Right. So it doesn't really matter. There's no real excuse for this. It's Monica felt abandoned.
Right. Like it was a trauma to her.
Right.
Which it's a big deal when you're 12 to have to go live with people that aren't your immediate family for half a year.
And on its face, it just already doesn't sound great. So I'm already in Monica's corner. And then when Linda tries to explain it further, it doesn't sound any better.
No, she was it on her own account? Did she
So the 7 minutes of the episode came out early. And I think her name's Linda. Monica's mom, I think her name's Linda, was geared up for this because she knew that they had this conversation. So the first 7 minutes hit the internet, and she had her rebuttal, and it was
it kind of looks like a hostage video.
Very odd, very performative, she talks in a very performative way, but I don't think she's acting. I think she's
a lunatic.
I really don't know how to describe her persona. Like when she goes, can we have some fun? I just want to have fun. And she says it in such an actory, dramatic way, but I don't think, obviously she's not giving the best version of what she portrays to the camera, because she looks like absolute shit on camera. Right. So are you being performative? But she doesn't want to perform like a villain. She just has like a very actorly persona.
She's giving narcissist.
Yeah, some narcissistic
she's
qualities
like, on this week's tease of the upcoming episode, Monica makes claims that are false.
Yeah.
And she's just like going through, she's like,
These-
I had gotten a job in New York City and we had dear family friends that we decided it made sense for her to stay with while I found us an apartment to live. And she's like, she loved these people.
Right.
Like they lived downstairs from us. She would babysit their kids. She loved them.
Right.
And it's like, okay, that doesn't mean that she wanted to live with them and not either of her parents.
Also, Linda does not have any of these rebuttals in her argument with Monica. She fully flops like a fish and can't argue her way out of anything when Monica confronts her about any of this. So this is the 6-month-old, like, you've had time to think about it. And
Sure. And Monica's dad has already abandoned the family.
Yes.
So to have your other parent then leave and then be terrified that she's like not going to come back because she's gone for 6 months because she said she didn't do the research and didn't realize that New York City was expensive.
Which that was funny to hear someone say that because it's such a known thing. They're like, I didn't realize how expensive New York was. That's like the only thing people ever talk about New York. I think that Linda's real response, and if her name's not Linda, I'm very sorry because I've said it 100 times. Her real response was in that moment when she was confronted with it. That's the response she really wanted to give. Get over it. When do I get forgiven? She didn't care. And then she's had a lot of time to stew on this. She has all of her points, and still, I don't think it landed. I mean, people think Monica's mom is...
She's like a total manipulator. Like when she gets to the restaurant, she's crying, sobbing.
Yeah.
She's like, she's like, I need an aspirin. And like Monica's just like deadpan, like, like I'm not falling for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll save it because there is a couple things I want to go like or just talk about first. But yeah, it's you got to watch all of Monica's mom's strategies of an argument one by one. They
tumble.
They tumble. So before that, I wanted to say I want to talk about Whitney for a second because I feel like what Whitney's doing deserves a little bit of scrutiny. She is clearly not confident in what she is portraying this season, so she's really starting a bunch of things to see what works, just because I feel like, I think we've said it before, she's just not confident in what's actually going on in her life. So the drama she's trying to create with her husband, like I don't know if you, in the first scene, she's like, she's like, we're planning a birthday party, on our, what is it, Bobby, their daughter's birthday or whatever. And he goes, I have an event there. We've already talked about this on my daughter's birthday. And she goes, you do? You have an event? And she's like, she's trying to make this, it's almost like the Mauricio and Kyle storyline, which I think is real. She's trying to make instances of this that they're like not on the same page, but clearly you would have known that he had an event on the birthday and you already talked about this. And he goes, yeah. He basically says, well, we have talked about this. And she goes, okay, we'll do it the weekend before, but I need your help. He's like, okay.
Yeah.
It's just like that. I don't think that plot line is working out to her advantage. So then she goes, okay, what else do I have to work with? I should have a sit down with Mary. Me and Mary have had a feud for 4 years, so let's just call Mary and see what works there.
Yeah.
Then she also has another flop with Meredith. When Meredith goes to the cross-country skiing.
Oh, yeah.
She goes, Meredith, they're having a nice, normal time. Like, can't they just have one scene that's just, like, fun and normal and nice? It was a perfect event, and it was fun when they're all tailgating. She goes, Meredith, I have something very uncomfortable I have to bring up. And Meredith is bracing. It's like, oh, fuck. Okay, what? It's like, I really think it's horrible. I'm inviting Angie to Bobby's birthday, and I think that the way you said you wanted to ruin Angie's life is just too much, but I still want to invite you. I just don't want you to say you're going to ruin Angie's life. And Meredith's like, I never said I wanted to ruin Angie's life. I'm not going to do that. And then it's just over. So all of these instances are Whitney trying different ways to like stir up shit. And it's just not working.
Right. I mean, even with like the Mary thing, like Mary's like, I'm leaving.
Yeah. And she's like, shit, the one thing I have of these 3 plot lines I'm trying to keep up in the air, they're not landing properly.
Right.
And so the Mary one, we can just talk about it now. It's like supposed to be this huge confrontation that Whitney fully wanted on her own. Mary even says it. She goes, take your shot. This is your one shot. What do you have to say? Like, how are you going to...
Yeah.
In Mary's mind, Whitney called her a predator.
Mm-hmm.
Like that she steals from the church. She's running a cult,
yeah.
basically. So the minute that Whitney comes hat in hand and tries to apologize for what she says, and then the minute that Whitney says... it's not just me in this. You've also sent me mean texts.
Right.
And then they were mean.
The montage of texts.
Yeah, I mean, they're horrible. It's like the worst thing you could ever text someone. But then Mary is just like out immediately.
Yeah.
You know?
But she can't leave without getting her food boxed up first. And she also refuses to box it herself. So not only does she have to wait to flag someone down to bring a box, but once they do, she goes, can you box it for me? So then they have to leave again. And I was like, bitch, just take the box and dump your shit in there.
I know. It lasted way too long where Mary already wanted to leave, but then she's waiting there 5 minutes.
Oh my God, the way she wanted to clock that waiter when they spilled on her.
Oh, she spilled crispy duck sauce on Mary's, which I didn't even see because they didn't really show the sauce. But
she was literally like about to explode.
It was like, Lord have mercy on my soul.
She was basically like, I'm not the one you want to spill on. I was like, I'm scared.
Because we've already seen how she treats service industry professionals.
And this is where we get the like, get it through your head, bobblehead.
Right. So now Mary brought it again. Whitney went from little girl to bobblehead.
That's pretty much Mary's biggest value is those phrases.
Yeah, they're great.
Because other than that, I'm like, she's unwell.
She is unwell, and I'm so reserved and being a huge fan of Mary just because I know there's probably some. I mean, we already know. I already seen.
I know, like she should go to jail.
Yeah, like she's been so awful, but I think that Whitney just like lost in this scene.
Yeah.
Like Mary just already didn't want to have this scene. Whitney brings up one thing that's like her argument, which in Mary's head, calling her a predator is 10 times worse than mean text or whatever. So she's like, I'm out.
I mean, she can dish it, but 100% cannot take it. Like the second you say anything against her, she's like, I'm leaving. Bye. Can we just quickly, before we go deep on Monica and her mom, just talk about how Lisa's son is getting sent to Columbia, where they seem to accept that all the Mormons that go there get held at gunpoint.
Yes. So, in terms of my Mormon, like the Mormon viewership or whatever, the thrill I get from watching the Mormon religion, you know, as a part of Salt Lake City, this missionary reveal party was a sight to behold. Like, I know nothing about this world. Like,
Lisa said on Watch What Happens Live that they've been to like 13 of those parties this year. Because they just like have to go to everybody.
You saw all the kids
How
there.
do they schedule them? They should all just do it together.
I know.
At one big party.
Yeah. All those kids were pre-Mish.
Yeah. Pre and post-Mish.
So, Jack, that's the name, right?
Yeah.
So there's a sweet scene where John, okay, so again, I knew nothing about Lisa and John's relationship with the church. John is been in the Mormon church all of his life.
Those flashback photos of him like in the full like white
Vegas.
tee and tie. Oh,
he got Vegas.
That's fun.
There's a lot of Vegas stuff this week.
Yeah.
So he was there for 2 years, and he is so compelled with emotion about his son doing this. It's like Jack made his dad so proud by doing this, which I keep, you know, we keep talking about what the hell's Lisa's relationship with the Mormon religion.
Right.
She converted for him.
Right.
He is full Mormon.
Right.
So, and then we found out that he actually, on his mission trip in Las Vegas, he met Lisa's older sister, and she introduced him to Lisa. So it's like it all.
Yeah. But their son is going to Columbia, where she also talked about that on Watch What Happens Live. She's like, like a lot of people we know, their kids have been held at gunpoint or knife point, and you know, you just kind of keep cash with you to pay them off. I was like, what? Yeah,
no. That's why we've talked about this. Lisa is lying about how she feels about this missionary trip because she wants to be in good standing with her husband and with the Mormon faith and with Jack, because she knows that Jack will hate her for the rest of his life if she starts to cast aspersions. I mean, we saw the dynamic, which was also interesting, the dynamic of how he listens to John. And then when Lisa says that
they gave her the ramble cut.
It was kind of interesting that Lisa walked in on her roommate at one point wearing all of her clothes. Did you remember that part?
No.
Oh, okay, so
I think I zoned out.
So John Barlow was saying how meaningful this was, and he was like, we have an open door policy. If this mission doesn't work for you, we are not a family that would cast you aside. You come back to us and we love you forever. It was like the sweetest thing in the world. And then Lisa goes, I want to offer my 2 cents. You're going to have a lot of weird roommates. I had a weird roommate when I was in college who, when I went to the dorm room when she wasn't expecting me, she was wearing all of my clothes, and she said, sorry, I just wanted to see what it was like to be you for a day. but
She's so out of touch. It's
Yeah.
hilarious.
yeah. I mean, it would be shocking though.
Sure, but it was like, yeah,
Yes,
the
it was a
juxtaposition of how sweet his dad's speech was. It was very heartfelt, and then she comes in and her contribution was
Also,
just,
though, it was like sort of the through line of teenage boys are kind of assholes. Like
Right.
maybe they're assholes to their moms.
yeah, for sure. He's definitely like doing a like rebellion.
Yeah. So then he gets the reveal, and he has a speech, which was kind of sweet, and it's like it was just all. I've never seen anything like this before, so I was like stunned by this whole process.
Yeah.
He reveals, and Lisa was expecting Europe, or definitely she probably wanted the United States.
No, Heather got to go to fucking France.
Yeah, and you have no say over it.
Yeah.
So Bogota.
Yeah.
And but I think that Lisa is lessening, very clearly lessening or trying to deaden her response to how she actually feels about everything related to this trip.
Right, because I'm like, imagine like not caring about the church that much and still having to send your child away to danger to like spread that religion.
Yeah,
Like
I know.
crazy.
Yeah, so of all places, it was probably like in her bottom, like
One of the
10.
worst.
Yeah.
Okay, let's finish out with this Monica and her mom. Did you notice that the restaurant was called Monarcha?
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I was like, she wanted to go to a restaurant that kind of sounded like her name.
What the fuck? Okay, so then she walks in immediately. Her mom's already like sobbing, going, I watched a movie on TV about a mother and daughter in Croatia.
Well, so first it's sobbing, and Monica just lets her do it. Doesn't say one thing, not
Yeah,
one word of comfort.
I
So
respect that.
So the first strategy didn't work.
Fail.
Then Monica's mom, Linda, goes, oh, God, I got a headache from that crying. Guess what? I watched a movie about a woman who goes to Croatia, and she has a bad relationship with her mom, and then the mom dies. Monica has
not solved.
Monica has no reaction
I
to
love
that.
that it was about, it had to be a scenario where the mom dies, not like, and her daughter died and she never made it
Right.
right with her daughter. It
Right.
was like, you're going to regret not making it right with me.
Right. So that was strategy 2. Monica has no reaction to that. Then she got mean.
Yeah. Slams the table.
I'm talking. Don't negate my feelings.
The waiter's like, what can I get for you?
Yeah. Monica goes, well, you negated my feelings when I was, upset, and you laughed in my face when I was crying. You took everybody's side.
Yeah.
And Monica has just one very clear through line to what she's saying. I felt abandoned at the Greek Easter brunch when you took everyone's side and apologized for me, and it brought me back to the time when you left me.
Yeah.
And Monica's mom is not answering that question. She's doing everything wrong in this argument. She's trying everything and failing in every way.
Yeah. But yeah, I was just dying at like every time like the waiter would come, they were clearly like yelling at each other and crying. Like that like Housewives trope of the waiter like waiting to
Yes.
come over and being like, are you guys set on drinks or
Right, because there's so much dinner activity that has to happen around like a fight.
yeah,
or...
like the mom's like they're like fighting and then they're like, what can I get for you? And she's like, I'll have the lobster enchiladas.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of hard to parse because there was so much like stops and starts, but I felt like Monica was just very steadfast in what she was saying, and Monica's mom was really like all over the place trying everything. At one point she gets so heated that she goes, let me talk, motherfucker. I was like, damn, motherfucker.
I know. And then the mom's like, look at this beautiful dessert, and it's guacamole.
That was awesome.
I was like, have you disassociated? Like, what is happening?
Why can't we enjoy this beautiful dessert? What dessert did guacamole look like to
And
her?
she was like, it's not dessert, it's guacamole. She goes, appetizer, whatever.
Yeah.
And then she's like, Mom, like, you have trauma because of the way your mom treated you. And then she's like, what's my trauma? Which is like the most like fucking boomer shit in the world. Like,
Right.
what trauma do I have?
She's like,
I'm over it.
Yeah,
I'm
my
over
trauma.
it. And it's like
Yeah.
clearly fucking not. Like,
Right.
Jesus Christ. And then yeah, she's like, you used to have me in the back of the car while you made out with guys. And she's like, so I kissed a boy.
Right. She was, that happened once. It's like, okay, well, you're saying it happened.
And she's like, you don't give a fuck. She's like, I don't.
Yeah.
Get over it. And she's like, when do I get forgiven? And she goes, not today.
Not today. It's true. I mean, it's just all of her tactics to try to get back, on her daughter's good side didn't work. And then her last resort was get over it.
Terrible.
Which Monica was legitimately shocked that her mom said that to her at the end of
At
everything.
this point, I'm like, okay, like, next step, stop hanging out with her mom.
Yeah.
Like this, you can't. We've watched them blow up this way like 4 or 5 times already.
Then Monica says something where she says, this is sort of what we do all the time. And this is my interactions with my mom a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want it to bleed into the kids. That's when I have a problem. So like taking away the car, them seeing it at Easter brunch. She doesn't want her kids to be affected. Like she can tolerate this from her mom, but she does not want it to get to her children.
Right. But yeah, her mom is nuts. Seeing that shit online of her internet rebuttal was like chilling.
Yeah. Also, yeah, it was like, I just can't believe that she felt compelled to like already as a new in the Bravo universe felt compelled to like have her PR rebuttal to the world.
It's insane. And I'm like, how hard is it? Like, how much therapy do you need to just say, I'm so sorry that you felt abandoned at that time.
Yeah.
I was really struggling as a single mom. I needed to get that job. I didn't handle it well. Maybe I did want to be alone for a minute and needed a fucking break because I was losing my mind.
Yeah.
Like, just fucking say it and she'll forgive you.
Yeah.
Like, the defensiveness.
Yeah, it was. There was a lot. I mean, there was a lot there, but in that fight, I mean, we got a huge look at all of the, horrors that are in their dynamic.
And then the mom's like, the only answer is we need to go to therapy. It's the only way. And I'm like, that'll be fun for you. Like, they're going to like rip you up in there.
And then Monica agrees, I think, at the end. So it's like, we're going to see that play out.
Sure. I mean, therapy is only going to force her to answer to these things.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that that's what she wants.
Yeah. I mean, it just gives more credence to what Monica said, which is that sometimes she wishes she had a different mom. And now we're seeing exactly why that is.
Totally. So, Juicy, Lucy Juicy Apple Goosey Juicy.
Did you like that episode?
I did. I thought that that mother-daughter conversation was quite interesting.
I mean, definitely the highlight. And then I liked the missionary reveal for what it showed
that was
of
like
the
an
Mormon
image.
church.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, should we do like a speed round 5-minute winter house and potential 1 bullet point RHONY?
I don't know what the hell we're going to say about RHONY, but yes.
Okay, winter house, pirate ships and situationships. Schwartz has arrived. He seems like on death's door.
Yes.
He's been through the ringer.
And he's only been through a week of it.
Yeah.
Like, this lasted for months.
Yeah. He's like, I feel like I have a scarlet letter on me. I'm a pariah. I had to extricate myself. As we discussed already, in 2 weeks' time from his arrival at Winter House, he's going to have to go do that reunion where he's popping Xanax because he's so stressed out.
Yeah.
And then did you notice they gave Alex on the flashback of his attempt to make out with Jordan, they gave him a horror edit?
They did?
Yeah.
No, I didn't notice
It was
that.
like spooky music.
Really? Because of how he slithered?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Schwartz gets in the house, and he is so grateful to be there. I think we talked about that last week. He's like, I miss your face. I love you. Humans that are not Tom Sandoval. He like embraces everyone, and you just see how happy he is to be at the Winter House. This entire episode.
Totally.
He's so happy to be out of Los Angeles.
Totally. And once he starts when they go out to that bar and he's hanging out with Brian and they both order minestrone soup, I was like, they're a good pair.
Yeah, no,
they're both like kind of like beta and just kind of like goofy.
Yeah.
And so I was like, that's fun. And I love that they were like making a huge gag out of ordering minestrone soup. Like that was like very funny.
I don't think I've ever had minestrone soup.
It's good. It's just
Really?
like a vegetable.
Okay.
With noodles.
Yeah, and Schwartz actually, I mean, I'd expect it, but like he gets along so well with everyone, and I liked his friendship with Alex was kind of fun. Like they immediately have like some bonding there. He gets some water in the morning, like they're roommates instantly.
Oh my god, he brought that Mountain Valley Spring for him.
Yeah.
I was like, that is nice.
Yeah, that was sweet, and it's nice to see Schwartz make friends with people outside of the Vanderpump Rules universe, like with this new batch of people. And I really like this entire cast. I mean, I think everyone
it's been a good mesh.
Yeah.
When Schwartz goes grocery shopping with Katie from Below Deck, and at one point Kyle's like, who do you like here, whatever, and he's like, I mean, Katie would be a vibe, or Kyle says Katie would be a vibe for him, and he's like, I don't think I'm vibe worthy right now.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
But I did like their like grocery shopping, and everyone said they did a great job grocery shopping.
They were so proud of them when they came back. And then, Schwartz says that, like, Katie for him is absolutely beautiful. And that's who he's most interested
Slam dunk.
in. Yeah, slam dunk.
Can we quickly touch on Kyle's drunken fruit ninja moment?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
That was insane.
I think I almost blocked that out. I go,
Just
don't do
throwing
that.
watermelons in the air and trying to cut them in half.
What if the knife accidentally slipped from the fruit
What
juice?
could go wrong?
Seriously, Kyle, come on. You've been drunk 1,000 times before. Why you don't play with knives?
Insane. Also, we discover that something important on Summer and Winter House, Schwartz cleaned up in the morning. Huge green flag for me.
You like that?
Opposite of Craig.
You're right. Yeah, that was very sweet. He's like he was the first one up too. He was even up before Casey, who I think went to bed before.
Yeah.
He was just up and cleaning.
Yeah. Also, red flag against Casey. She said she's into crypto.
She said that?
Yeah.
Okay, but you say that's not good about Casey. So that's one.
Well, remember that girl that was fucking Corey last time? That was a metaverse realtor.
Yeah. Why?
What's with these blondes and their
They're all New York people.
crypto?
That's what New York people do.
Hate it.
I wish I hadn't bought property in the metaverse. It's the worst investment I made.
You have a summer house in the metaverse?
I hate my
it
metaverse
was
house.
$800,000.
I now have no time, so it's just sitting there. It cost me $15,000. It's the worst house.
I only have an ape NFT.
What's that? Oh. You're sort of sorry. I graduated from the NFT universe to the meta universe. But why the hell? I mean, I need money. That was not a good use of
Maybe you
my
can
money.
call that girl. She'll sell it for you.
Who?
That girl from Winter House.
Okay, but in Casey's defense, she also said cool stuff that she likes. First of all, she's one of the best skiers in the world, and she was doing some very cool ski shit.
She was bragging
Backwards.
about that she was almost pro, but she got kicked out of college for roundhouse kicking a girl in the face.
I was like, that's cool.
I'm like,
well, no, violence isn't cool, but
Let's check the record on that. I feel like that was giving exaggeration.
okay, you're down on Casey. I was actually.
She's
this is
just kind of
joking.
braggy.
I think she just had a limited amount of time to tell us who she was, so she took it. She likes taxidermy because she loves the Natural History Museum, which I also love. I thought that was fun. She said she was reading that book on the Civil War about the funeral industry being revolutionized by the deaths in the Civil War. And then she said one other notable thing that Schwartz liked. She was having this like sort of bonding moment with Schwartz. I forget all of the instances, but
yeah. She said she was reading what I assumed to be that book that became the series on Apple TV with Brie Larson, Lessons in Chemistry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know. I wanted to think about what that book was. That was fun.
That was my guess.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It's just like a rom-com, I think. And then let's see what else is going on.
So Brian is trying to play it cool, so he likes everyone, but he has the best shot with Casey because him and Casey sort of nerded out about crypto, or they're both like nerds or whatever. So Corey tells him to play it cool, which, I guess that's good advice. I don't know. Do you listen to Corey? I mean,
No.
Corey has the attraction of now Jordan and Malia. And also, Katie was
I
attracted
know they're
to
all
first.
fighting for him.
Like,
but I feel like that's just because of the way that he is. Like, Brian cannot be like Corey.
I know, yeah, but I don't know. Corey's not really shining. I don't know if I'm just down on Corey because like of how we're
He's
talking about it, but
gross.
I just don't think his vibe actually meshes with like Schwartz and Kyle. And oh yeah, you were saying last week it's like with Kyle
He
with
drags
Corey,
the men down.
That's a bad vibe. But then
Yeah.
Brian, even Alex. I know Alex made a huge slithering mistake, but Brian, Alex, Schwartz, Kyle, they have this own sort of eccentric fun quality. No one wants to be like Corey. Get the hell out of here. But then he gets like everyone is like attracted to him, taking his advice.
Yeah, Corey has like no. Not that I need this on the Winter House, but like no emotional arc
No.
at all. So I'm like, I don't give a shit
And
about
his
you, bro.
humor is negative humor. He goes, "You're gonna look like that when you come out as a pirate." Not that specifically, but his like.
No, he's like a bully. Like he's like a jock.
But he's also like, I think he said at Summer House, I don't remember. I think he was bullied, and he was like, someone that like didn't have a lot of friends, and then when he got buff and stuff,
Hurt
he like
people.
he's a hurt person who keeps on hurting people, even though he hasn't really hurt anyone.
No, he's just annoying.
Yeah, he's just not. That's just not the vibe I want of That's not a personality I'm drawn to.
No.
I'm sure there's some people who watch Winter House and they're like, whoa, finally a guy that's like me in there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Did you like that when they put on their pirate costume, Kyle said 417 lover boys ago?
As long as he said lover boy, I like it. So I wanted to say that Brian, though, does go to Casey's room to have a little bit of one-on-one. And when they're talking about like the future of what they want independently, they're like, she's like, I want 3 kids. He goes, I do too. And then he goes, I forget what he says. He goes, well, in a year from now, we'll see what happens. Meaning between him and Casey. And
Right.
she's just like,
She's like, okay, bye. I also want to call out that Schwartz wore like a hair metal wig for
Right.
the pirate challenge, but he also again was helpful to the house and ordered all that Chinese food, and they showed him on the phone. He seemed so stressed out ordering it on the phone.
Could you imagine? I would be so stressed out.
So much food to order. That was probably like $300 of food.
Ordering food for a party environment is one of
Over
the most
the
stressful
phone.
things you can ever do.
Seriously, I know. I was already like thinking like, do you have to get veggie options? Like,
Yeah.
da da da. Like,
And then another like relationship that is budding is Alex set his sights on everyone, just like Brian. But
Right.
now he's gearing towards Danielle. Danielle has been more receptive.
yeah.
And they have good banter. Danielle's like, turn it down a little bit and then I might like you or whatever. But then finally she decides like, okay, I'm going to go for Alex too. So then they walk out
Oh,
and then
right.
they have the hot tub. It's like a recreation of the Jordan scene, but now with someone who wants to make out with him.
Oh, right. And when he like flops out of the tub and she's like, I want to make out with you, but you're not making it possible.
He's like still slithering.
He's like, all right. Let's just like make out then. And then he is about to say something and she goes, don't ruin it. Like
Yeah.
she's just like
No.
manhandling him.
Yeah, seriously. She's like,
So-
you're doing, everything you're doing is wrong. Here's the part of you I like. Just don't say
Right.
anything. Let's start making out.
Can I say, I just found one Corey bully comment because Casey did the peg leg for the pirate.
Wait, you found,
and Corey goes, I could see you're pegging Brian.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay.
I wanted to call that out too. That was awful.
He's so rude.
But also I don't know if it's a persona, like a jock
Right.
asshole persona that
Totally.
he knows
He's
works.
totally full of shit.
Yeah, like
Completely.
it was awful to say
Which is
that.
why I don't understand why all the girls fall for him, because I would be like, I hate you.
Isn't it like cliche or not
Yeah.
cliche, but isn't it just like it's like, oh, I treat people like shit, and so that's some people are going to be attracted to people who treat people like shit.
Yeah, his whole thing when wearing the pearls, it's all so contrived. I hate it.
And he has a Friar Tuck haircut, which we didn't even talk about last week. Remember when we were doing our Friar
Yeah,
Tuck?
he kind of does.
Well, if I'm just thinking now, I can only picture him with Friar
But with a little
Tuck.
curl to it. Yeah. Okay, and then I think the last thing really is they do like fuck, marry, kill, and then
Oh, I
Kyle
liked
kisses Schwartz.
Yeah, I liked. I was like, Kyle. I
Now
kind of
that
felt.
Sandoval's gone.
I just kind of like, Kyle. Did you just want that? Because Kyle is like so well versed in the Bravo universe. You
Yeah.
can tell. We talked about him on Watch What Happens Live. I was just like, I loved it. I loved it.
Well, I
And
love that
obviously
Kyle was like very comfortable in doing it, and he probably would have like gone on for longer. And Schwartz was still going like, yuck.
Yeah, right. But I was just like, did you want like a Sandoval moment? Like, I don't know. Like, did you want that like same Sandoval moment that they always have?
Totally.
You know?
Yeah.
Right.
And then we got the 3-way kiss between Jordan, Danielle, and Alex, which was, I was like, ooh, spicy. Like, I was like, that's fun. Like, I was
know.
like, that's what we come here for.
Really?
You
Yeah.
know?
So we were like, Winter House is about this. I mean,
Yeah.
that's all it's about. Is we're watching the dynamics of who is going to make out or make
Totally.
love
It's
to each
the
other in this
point.
house. So I think, yeah, we have to just talk about it all.
They should send fucking Brynn from RHONY to Winter House, and then she could just have sex with everyone and prove that her threats are real.
That she would actually have
Yeah,
sex with
let's
someone.
see it.
Let's see it. Who are you going to have sex with in the Winter House? Schwartz's fuck, marry, kill was interesting. Marry Katie,
right.
which was sweet because
Right.
he was like, we already established a bond from
Right.
groceries. Fuck. Who did he say?
Who
fuck?
was it?
I forget.
I wrote it down. Hold
It was
on.
all. It was good. I forgot.
Let's see.
Someone offered to be killed.
I think Jordan.
Oh, yeah, he
And
said-
then Malia was like,
You can
"I'll
kill
be
him."
sacrificed,"
which was sweet.
yeah. Have a little bit of name. I have the Emily Gina for Malia and Katie.
Okay.
Like I think that Malia looks like her name is Katie.
Okay. I don't have that, so I'll always be able to usher you into.
I think
the
I
right
get it now,
names.
but I think last week I misspoke. But
So if Winter House was just this, I mean, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Like a little bit of snow biking, which I've never seen before. I
That looked
love
fun.
snow biking. I love them going to Colorado bars and hitting on the locals. And
Yeah.
then there's just fun games that they're doing. Kissing, getting drunk, trying to establish if anyone's here going to hook up or whatever. It's just Winter House is just pure fun, party, fun energy.
Totally.
Not too much to like, think about.
Right. Yeah, I'm just perusing my RHONY notes, and I'm like literally like, nothing is good.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have 4 minutes to talk about RHONY, so what the hell are we going to say?
I mean, the only fiery part, I'm just going to say also, because I watch on like real cable,
Okay.
And the first commercial break, Psy had a commercial for Ninja blenders with her daughter.
What?
It's called the Ninja Thirsty. And it was like a full-on 30-second commercial, and I was like, "Dang, she got that bank."
What? I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I saw that Sonify commercial. Did you see that?
What's that?
It was this wolf that's wearing this outfit on it, going through the hospital trying to spread the flu to different patients.
Oh, no.
And I was thinking, why is that wolf wearing this piece of cloth? And then I realized it's a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Oh.
And it's going around, and then all the nurses start to repel this CGI wolf. It was a really weird commercial.
That's like Barry, what's his name? Greg from the Brady Bunch, his Halloween performance, he was a wolf.
Brady from Greg from Brady Bunch back in the day.
On Dancing with the Stars.
He's on now?
Yes. I mean, I guess you only watch clips. I watched the whole thing.
Is it? What's his real name?
Barry something. Okay.
Okay, wait. So
but basically, the only action was Uba versus Bryn, because they first.
Why though? Why I forget why. I don't even remember why. Why does Bryn not like Uba?
I don't know. She was just calling her out, and Uba's loyalties are very confusing because she'll call out people in a very direct and rude way, and then she'll be like, "I love you all." She said,
Yeah.
"Is there a trash can where I can barf about Bryn and Aaron's relationship?" She goes, "It makes me sick." And then 2 minutes later, she's like, "Aaron is very loyal."
And we all love each other.
Huh?
No, right. You're right. The only moment I liked was Uba calling out Bryn and Aaron having a fake friendship,
Right.
Which I think they do. I think it's
Totally.
so for the show. I don't think they actually like each other or would ever get along in any capacity. So when they go, "That's just our banter. That's just how we work. That's the Bryn and Aaron vibe," and Uba goes, "You make me want to barf."
Yeah.
Which that's true. But then if Uba just extrapolated that, just say everything is fake, because it all is. All of the Psy and Aaron bullying on Jessel, it was all just inauthentic garbage. All of it was fake. So Uba, don't pull that thread, because you don't know what you're going to find there. This was all inorganic, false garbage.
Totally. I will also say that Psy kept joking that the reunion was her first time doing therapy or whatever.
She said that joke maybe 4 times.
Yeah. And then by the end, I was like, I can't think of someone who needs therapy more than you.
I know, yeah, seriously.
You gotta work on that.
I had such high hopes for Jessel coming into this, because the to be continued was Jessel was basically getting her fury level up and
Right.
about to unleash it, and then I felt like within 1 minute, Aaron and Psy just diffused it so much by just saying, "We didn't actually mean anything by it. We never insinuated that Pavitt was cheating. We actually love you so much, and we love you forever, and we'll never do anything like that again." And then Jessel was just like, "Okay, well,
Yeah.
there's nothing to even combat against anymore." And then Jessel ended up apologizing for something she did within 3 minutes. Jessel, everything was built up for you to finally realize that you're victorious over all of them. And
I know.
She didn't have
Yeah.
that righteous fury.
Right. I know Jenna stood by that moms and uncles are different, but then Uba goes, "In my culture, aunts and uncles are everything."
I feel like the world wants me to just say definitively mothers and uncles are different, but no one knows the internal dynamics of anyone's family.
Yeah, because she even said, she's like, "He was like a father to me." So it's who gives a fuck?
If I loved my uncle more than my mom, I'm not saying I do. Well, I could be more sad about someone else in my family than my mother.
Right.
I don't understand this.
And then, Psy even said ultimately, she was like, the problem was that I didn't want to talk about my mom. So it was arguing the semantics of mom/uncle was not the point.
Andy even said there's a lot of semantics going on. I felt like he was frustrated. It was he was trying to parse through what Aaron actually said about Cheesegate, which are
God.
And it was and he's
Yeah,
just
and then with the iPhone,
the iPhone, yes,
emoji, where he's I would have understood what that meant. And he was like, if she would have put an emoji with like a hand up instead of the thinking, would you have gotten it? And Uba was like, I still wouldn't have gotten it.
Yeah.
And
My
he was
real
like,
frustration with
okay.
all of this is that why are we picking apart and trying to dissect and talk about stuff that was just not actually anything that they felt or wanted to, like, it's stuff that they just brought up because they wanted to create a bunch of fake conflict to make the show entertaining. So why are we even talking about any of this?
Why are we talking about Find My iPhone?
Yeah.
Why are we talking about whatever? And so I think that's where it started, because Brynn goes like, have you heard of fucking Find My iPhone? She's like, yeah, like go to the Genius Bar, whatever. And Uba started to get pissed.
Yeah.
And then, the Uba's like, sometimes I feel like maybe part of the Uba question mark is just language barrier.
Yes. I think
because when she got so pissed off at Jenna about saying she saw the Uba hot side of Uba because she got pissed that she didn't realize they were filming, she was so infuriated that Jenna said there was a different side to her.
Yeah.
And it's like, she meant that like, she was surprised that you were pissed.
Right. I mean, everyone is kind of trying to help Uba
And
through
that
it.
took
They're
like
she didn't.
5 minutes to get through. And ultimately it was just a language barrier.
The pacing of this episode felt wild. It was 58 minutes long, but it felt so slow. Like they had all the like creaks in it of like Andy like making faces for like 20 seconds too long. Like it felt paced badly because they didn't have a lot to work with.
And then the Uba and Brynn back and forth was like in real time and very long. Like she goes, Uba says, don't confuse being angry and being assertive. And then Brynn goes, that's not being assertive. And that's when she goes, amore, maybe you don't know how to be loved. And Brynn goes, watch your fucking mouth. And then they go back and forth about, you put people in the hospital, I put people in the funeral home. Uba goes, I bury them. And then Brynn's like, I'm half black and half Irish. Don't fuck with me. And then Uba's like, I'm fucking Somali. And you're just like going back and forth. I was like, ah!
Yeah.
But then it adds to nothing. Like it ends up being nothing basically.
Yeah, and I feel like they already like at the start of this they said that they're like in a good place already, and then they said that like they're going to be friends forever, and this is family, and we all love each other. So they sort of like affected the impact of this entire thing by establishing that they're all going to be totally fine with each other at the end of this, Right. We can't really get invested in any of these feuds.
Didn't you feel like Jenna's life force was completely depleted by the end? Like, first of all, she definitely is terrified of Uba. Like, when Uba got fired up, she was like, ah. Yeah. And so I did appreciate that Brynn was like, I'm the only one that's not fucking scared of you. I was like, at least you can like, stand up. But by the end, when Jenna is saying they do the toast, Jenna's like talking at like half volume.
Yeah.
Like she's like exhausted over it.
It was too much for her.
And terrified.
That also took a really long time.
Right.
10 minutes of those final thoughts.
Drinking those weird like orange cocktails.
And then Andy just gives it up to him. I don't know if we want to say anything else. He goes, you guys did an absolutely, truly brilliant season of television. I am so proud of you all. I love you, and you'll be back for 5 seasons. This is the best reunion I've ever hosted, basically.
I sent you a meme from like Instagram of a clip of Nene at the reunion saying to Andy after he says that, going, really? And Andy goes, yeah. And she goes, okay.
Yeah, I'm like, is brilliant Andy's code word for when, because he's never said it before about anything else in the world. Is brilliant his like, code word for, I don't know what to say about this.
Right. It's just, I'm like, I know that wasn't it.
Damn, I feel like we need to pace Turtle Time where we talk about garbage first and then we end on like Southern Charm of Beverly Hills, because now I'm like, God damn, RHONY sucked.
Yeah, it's over though.
It's over. Oh, okay. Yeah, let's get back to a high note. We don't have to talk about RHONY for probably like, 6 months?
Yeah, we only have to talk about Beverly Hills, Salt Lake City, Potomac, Winter House, Southern Charm.
And then Miami, we're just leaving on the
You guys,
table.
I'm sorry. I know Miami is supposed to be really good, and maybe we'll get to some area where we can make bonus content about it or kick out a show that gets worse, but like we just cannot watch one more show on top of it.
Well, it's on us how much Turtle Time people can have in their, in their lives. And if it calls for it.
That's our call.
What?
That's our call.
It's our call, but I'm just saying like, well, we shouldn't talk about this on mic because people don't give a shit. But it is unwieldy, and I don't want to short shrift anything if it actually deserves scrutiny. Like if this RHONY reunion and Winter House were so vibrant, we're like, well, we're trying to make 3 hours. We do have to figure out what's going on. But that's for us, and we're going to take a reprieve from Turtle Time.
Maybe we'll do like something where we watch the entire Miami season and talk about it at the end or something.
Yeah. And
or like mid-season.
Be caught up with it at some point. But yeah. But now, we don't have to think about that. We just get to think about tomorrow going to Vegas, going to BravoCon, embracing the Bravo fandom.
Yeah.
Being
Don't forget your wristband.
I already have it packed in my little bag.
I left it out on the counter. I was like, oh God, I'm going to fucking forget
Have you activated yours yet?
I did.
Oh, I didn't do that yet. 'Cause I'm
You
just afraid someone...
It's mandatory.
To activate before?
Well, just at all.
Do you have to sync it with like the app or something?
I think it's just like your info. So like only you can use it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's activate our bracelets.
Let's get activated.
Let's get activated finally. So just some final thoughts. Thank you so much for listening to Turtle Time. We're way longer than we have ever gone. No, we're like in the, we're in the same range, but we've said everything we could say.
We've said it all.
We've said it all. We love you so much. If you want to support Amy and I and you just liked listening to us for 3 hours and 7 minutes, please buy maybe possibly if you wanted to support a Bravo celebrity that you're a huge fan of and you happen to be a fan of maybe only Craig, Dorinda, Kristen,
Frank
Jiggy,
Catania.
or Frank Catania. Please, you can...
Or Brooks and Dawn.
Or Brooks and Dawn. People need to support Brooks and Dawn.
Yeah. That was our last drop.
Yeah,
but or follow our Patreon for more. I'm sure there's going to be some fun little BravoCon sneak peeks over there.
Oh, yeah. And for our Villa Rosa VIPs that listen to this and also are part of the Patreon, yeah, we're going to have some beautiful special BravoCon related content for you. So maybe if you want to get a glimpse of that and you're not a Patreon, that could be some way that you could help Amy and I tremendously in our life.
Yes.
Okay, well, no one loves you as much as Amy and I. And please, either watch us on all of our social media for what we're doing at BravoCon, or if you're at what is it called? BravoCon. If you go to BravoCon, say hi to us.
Yeah, for sure.
We want to see these little turtle cuties out in the wild.
That's right.
If there are any.
Buy us a Pinot Grigio. Just kidding.
Just kidding. You don't have to do anything for us. Let's just party together on our own. Okay. Well, and also let us know if you do listen to Turtle Time, because I'm not aware of the audience anymore.
Yeah. Again, we don't look at those numbers.
I'm sure someone does, right? We're doing okay.
Pretty sure we're doing this for some reason.
There has to be listeners. Okay. All right. Well, we love you so much. Sleep good tonight, and let's all go to BravoCon, whether it be digitally or in real life.
Physically.
Oh yeah, right. That's the other thing. It's not digitally. Love you guys so much.
Bye.
This one's for you.